number one in the chat. Tisreal. Ice King of Space up in this motherfucker. No shit, Tisreal? God damn. It's going up. Bitcoin's going up.
How is that for two fantastic cocktails? Now, for my third cocktail, which is my Candy Cane cocktail. Blue cognac liqueur, splash of orange liqueur. This has exotic.
Shit's all stained up.
French vodka. Now, this is vanilla vodka.
Real quick. Okay, big props to this guy who put together this video called Alcoholic MILF Sandra Lee. Big props to Alcoholic MILF Sandra Lee for doing this early Food Network programming. Yum mimosa. Aunt Sandy makes a special version. Oh no, I hate that sample. Big props to HP Shorty. Greatest Hits Volume 2, we're going to be bumping that. He basically exchanges Bitcoin into a bunch of shit coins. Oh, yeah, okay, I see. That would explain it then. Seeing Bitcoin hit record highs and being like, oh. It's only money, buddy. It's only money, buddy. Can't take it with you. Anyway, my beautiful wife went to Costco this morning, and she knows I really enjoy insane foods, like crazy, terrible foods. The stupider, the better. You know, I buy all that weird candy because I got to try it out. So anyway, she got me these. Check these out. Gummy strawberry. Look, and it's like packaged like real strawberries. Each one individually packaged. Too much plastic. Too much plastic. But it is really cool, though. It is like super cool looking because it looks like a real basket of fruit. So look at these. Look at this, man. This is okay. I know. I got the filter. I got the. You get it though. The chroma key on the green, but looks. They taste like fascism. Well, let's find out. That's what I was gonna let you know. I was gonna try one live here. So here we got one. Strawberry. They're apparently filled with juice or something. God, how do I get them the fuck out of here, dude? What the fuck do I gotta do? These things are in there. Oh, there we go. Okay. Try one of these gummy strawberries. This is exactly the kind of shit that I love. My wife hates it. She's like, no. I was like, you want one? She's like, hell no. Hell no. Oh, cool. All right. So check that out. It's very chewy. It's got some texture there. Okay. Kind of feels like a glob. You know, it doesn't really, it's not giving me fruit vibes, but it's got juice. So let's try it out. I mean, it ain't bad. So there's a little juice veins. It's got two little juice pockets. It's not the worst, like gummy, right? But it's more sugary than it's strawberry. You know, it needs more strawberry. It's very, very sugary. It kind of just tastes like a cheap candy. It doesn't like explode with authentic strawberry flavor. Well, good thing I have 150 of these fucking things that I'm gonna have to eat. So good thing. That's okay. It'll take me a couple minutes. All right, what's that? Yeah, exactly. Ice King. Yeah, like a good strawberry, fresh off the vine. You know, apparently, though, there's strawberries in Japan that are the sickest shit ever, that taste like heaven. I saw this YouTube video, Paul Hollywood. You ever heard of that guy? He's like, I heard of this place. I got to go. This Japanese farmer sells $100, $200, $300 strawberries for one strawberry. And Paul Hollywood was like, no way this is worth that kind of money. But he was like, I sell out every day. I sell them bitches. You know, the price is set because that's what people are willing to pay. And Paul Hollywood couldn't believe it. So he buys one, and he's like, this is the best strawberry, possibly the best fruit I've ever had in my life. Like, he eats the stem, eats the whole thing. He's like, that is 100% worth it. So that's the kind of strawberry I want to try. I know, I want to go to Japan so bad as well. Welcome back, Promethean, Your Tubing, Ice King, and of course Tisrael over there in Ukraine. We got a lot of fucking news to cover. What the fuck are we doing wasting time eating disgusting candy? Let's get to it, folks. I don't know what to do. Jump into where we left off yesterday or start covering the news. I mean, all these tabs right here that you see is all the news I collected that I think is worthy of discussion just in the past 24 hours. From 12 hours, just in the past 12 hours since ending my stream yesterday and starting it up right now. It's your boy, Skinny Penis. Yo, it's Skinny Penis up in this mug. What up? Skinny Penis. I'm like, they call me the worm. What up, Bound TRS? Simply Steve and this motherfucker. So one thing I didn't cover intentionally yesterday was this, speaking of Bitcoin, so it's actually a perfect segue. Tisrael was talking about, unfortunately, a person who committed Roblox on a street in Kyiv, just right there, huh? Just in the middle of a street. That's one way to go out, man. So this is, if you haven't been paying attention, Bitcoin has been doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's at record highs, apparently, along with gold. People are speculating, of course, that has to do with the dollar, what's happening with the dollar. And Bitcoin went down the tube. It went down. So it went down, but it went up. Anyway, it all had to do with Trump's announcement. Welcome back, Harry. It all had to do with Trump's tariff announcement. Well, a Twitter account you might have heard of called Unusual Whales monitored some very, very strange behavior with somebody who timed like the perfect, like Nancy Pelosi slam dunk style, right? Has knowledge of what Trump's going to say before he says it, sets up a bunch of puts or something, sets up a bunch of bets, basically, that the thing is going to go down. Trump announces his tariffs. Stock goes down, everything goes down. This guy makes like $190 million, whoever this person is, sells them immediately, right? Like it was perfectly timed. Obviously some kind of pump and dump. Shit got so bad, Moist Critical. It's still up, but it's currently on the downtrend. Since the storm is calmed after Trump's bullshit announcement. Yeah, so anyway, your boy CoffeeZilla, we're not going to watch Moist Critical. Oh, I farted in my hand and it's really bad, stinks really bad, guys. I farted really bad. No, I make fun of him. He's fine, but he's so fucking mainstream. He's so fucking normie. I can't, I'm not going to sit here and listen to his critiques on anything. I'm not going to find it that stimulating. But he's fine, whatever. He's harmless. At least he's on the right side of history and not supporting a genocide, et cetera, et cetera. I got the feeling, though, that he still wants to hang out with Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, bro. Call that motherfucker out. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Yeah, Joe Rogan. Yeah, Joe Rogan, he's kind of an asshole. He's kind of a douchebag. Kind of reminds me. I don't know. I shouldn't make fun of him. He's fine. Because he's on our side. I shouldn't make fun of him. He is. I feel like he's got more. He's like way more legit than Theo Von, for example, who's like, "Oh shucks, guys, I don't know what's going on. I just go to dinners with Jared Kushner and I hang out with JD Vance. I don't know what's going on." Fart in my hand instinctually, that would be Asmongold. No, and but there's a big difference. I think if Charlie and Asmongold got into a room, Charlie would be calling out Asmongold. You know, he wouldn't let Asmongold being like, "Yeah, I think lefties are animals." I should stop talking and get to it because I do have some of those Asmongold clips that I want to talk about. He's just a disgusting human being and he makes me fucking sick. We all know what side of history he's on, okay? And it doesn't matter. He'll scream until the high heavens, "I'm not a fascist, I'm not a fascist," while fully supporting his fucking, you know, while putting all his weight behind a fascist dictatorship. And, you know, who's he trying to fucking fool here? Anyway, so there was very interesting stuff. Your boy CoffeeZilla covered it. Let's get to it. This is his Voidzilla channel where he does less produced videos. Yeah, look, you know, I ban people in my shit pretty quickly when they start spewing bullshit. So it's like I have a hard time criticizing people for policing their chat. Like, but that's what you're getting, right? You're getting a right-wing echo chamber. The reason why I ban people is because they bring that echo chamber in here and they want to, you know, they want to reciprocate. So the only motherfuckers that are in here are the motherfuckers that aren't spewing talking points and aren't spewing a bunch of fucking, you know, nonsense. I'm fine with conservatives until they cross the line and overtly support fascist elements. Right? But you coming in here like, "Stop steal, Trump 2028." You know, you're not worthy of my fucking time. You know, I wish there were real conservatives to talk to, you know? Show me a real fucking conservative nowadays, right? That doesn't support pedophilia, that doesn't support human trafficking, that doesn't support overt corruption. You know what I mean? Show me a real fucking conservative that wants to cut some taxes, you know, that wants to, you know, look into actual waste, fraud, and abuse, maybe in the CIA, maybe in the fucking military. Right? Show me a real fucking conservative. I haven't seen one, I think, in my entire fucking life.
Welcome to an $190 million insider trading analysis. Someone made $190 million while the crypto markets were crashing yesterday in light of tariffs that seem to have been preempted by a very specific trader. We're going to get into it. I want to be clear that I'm not accusing anyone of a crime here. Insider trading specifically relates to securities. We've been pretty clear that crypto, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, are not securities. So I don't even know what this is.
Is that the Alligator Alcatraz merch? I sure hope it is. Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I've seen worse. I'll take it. Yeah, all right. No, you know what? I love it. It's actually great. Fuck yeah. Buy it today. Put the link in the chat. People want to buy this shit. I don't know. I'll wear this corny ass shit. I don't care anymore. I'm 40. That's right. I'm motherfucking 40. I get to wear this shit now. So leave me the fuck alone and get the fuck off my lawn. Welcome back, Off-World and Socializing Sapien.
I think this is all legal, kind of. I don't think it should be, as you'll see. But the question is, what did this guy know? Okay, how did somebody make $190 million
really, is that so? Off-World.
While everyone else was losing their shirts yesterday? If you don't know, there was one of the biggest crashes we've ever seen in crypto.
Okay.
And someone came in 24 hours before and started placing shorts against the market. Short is just when you bet that the underlying asset is going
Okay, it wasn't a put, it was a short.
To go down in price and you will make money on that. Now, this all started October 9th at 16:39 GMT time. They start accumulating this Bitcoin short. Yeah. They initially put, and this is not chump change, guys. This isn't under your couch, you know, pennies.
No, we should set off a fucking nuke in the Gulf of America to really seal the deal. That's what we should do. Just nuke. He nukes the spot on the map where it says Mexico. He just erroneously nukes that spot on that map. Yeah, right there. Nuke the Mexico part.
This is $80 million that initially gets deposited, and they start placing shorts against Bitcoin. Okay, that's fine. Now the amount is unusual, but that itself is not the unusual part. Then we have Ethereum. starts to get shorted at 3:49 GMT. Interesting. $30 million gets deposited into this account. Immediately start placing major bets that the market is going to go down. Why is this significant? Well,
Doge is directly tied to Bitcoin, responding in the chat. Back to the video. So, it's not the worst direction to go in, but the whole thing's a fucking scam. Some people have pointed out, I've read this, it's like the stock market is at least theoretically based off something that's real. It's, of course there's a lot of separation as we've talked about, but at the very least it is connected. Some mining company extracts some precious metal out of the earth and then the stock goes up, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's related to things, right? Whereas Bitcoin is it's literally nonsense. It's literally numbers and nonsense. It is not connected to anything. So it's reassuring to see a lot of people going into gold instead of Bitcoin, but it's frightening to see the amount of people going into Bitcoin instead of gold, because what the fuck are you going to do with Bitcoin whenever the bottom drops out on that whole Ponzi scheme? What are you going to do about it?
Because at 14:57, this is only a few hours later, like 12 hours later, Trump posts on Truth Social that they are calculating a massive increase on Chinese
What, Simply Steve?
tariffs.
Are you serious?
This is due to a rare earth mineral dispute. But the point is, nobody knew this was coming, except, of course, maybe this guy. Because he's already got these multi-million-dollar shorts. Now, where I think
Nancy Pelosi level, future knowledge over here.
This goes from suspicious to downright diabolical is the fact that
I guarantee you got people dumping real estate, you got people dumping all stocks and probably bonds too. Smaller time people, right? Probably dumping all that shit, going right into precious metals, gold and silver. It's the future of the blockchain technology. I mean, we can't even get video games, like we got Call of Duty and all these other ones. I thought maybe it'd be cool to get a game in Call of Duty 6, get a gun in Call of Duty 6 and then bring that gun in with you to the next one, right? But they can't even figure that basic shit out with this blockchain tech. So far, it's a lot of assholes making a lot of money off of fucking nothing, dude.
At this point, the market dips a little bit because you have these threats of tariffs, but the person does not start closing out their shorts yet, which I think is very interesting. If you place this huge short,
one thing you can do if you want to invest in gold but you don't want to hold gold is invest in gold mining companies or the companies that hold gold. Right? Invest in the gold storage logistical chain, you can invest in that as well. But anything to do with gold is gonna be, because say the dollar, say somehow whatever needs to happen for the reserve currency to change, there's not even an official process for that. It was something that was decided, in the ruins of World War II. Everything was fresh and new, so anybody could really do anything. So it was sure, the dollar, I mean, that's really the only stable currency left, right? So it made sense to do it that way. So there's no official procedure for changing the reserve currency. But if that were to happen, people will be running to gold and maybe Bitcoin. But the thing is that Bitcoin's value is the fact that you can convert it into dollars. That's where the moolah comes from. So if the dollar loses its inherent value, and actually loses its reserve currency status, doesn't that bring Bitcoin along with it? I'm not a fucking genius. I don't know, right? But I do predict, and I do feel confident in saying that while that shaky, insane process is happening, whatever that looks like, people will be putting their wealth, putting their money into gold, buying it itself or the gold industry, whatever. I feel pretty confident saying that. Silver as well.
Bet. And then the president tweets something like this. You would think you would close out your order, but not only do they not do that, not only do they not close out their short, they continue to place short bets against Bitcoin. In fact, this person continues to short Bitcoin all the way up till 2049, 23 GMT.
Legend.
Why is that significant, ladies and gentlemen? It's because 2049 is the last short he places, okay? 2050 GMT. A minute later, 1 minute later, Trump announces they're considering an 100% tariff.
So some are thinking maybe Barron, like it could be anybody. It could be anybody.
On China, which of course tanks the market. And this person makes literally $190 million in 24 hours.
And by the way, I don't think I have it queued up, but Trump, I said, maybe I do actually have it queued up. I do have it queued up, actually, now that I remember. But Trump was saying, oh, it's all good. We're going to work it out. Me and G, I'll show you.
I was placing shorts up to 1 minute before Trump announces this big, huge 100% tariffs.
Wow, he's just really good.
And then, by the way,
skills.
Immediately, as
Skill
if
issue.
he knew something, we start seeing the shorts close only 30 minutes later. So both the ETH and Bitcoin short closed 30 minutes later. By the way, these accounts were funded by the same people. This is the same person making these trades. So to recap, this person not only times the same day that a big announcement was made, he makes these $110 million short against crypto. He then also conveniently waits past the initial tweet about tariffs until the most significant announcement, which is the 100% tariffs, and he's shorting it up to 1 minute.
Bro, so there's no doubt that there's a direct connection, probably to Trump himself, dude. This is Trump is the same guy that did a rug pull at the day one of his administration. Oh yeah, have we rug pulled the idiots on the Trump coin? Okay, go ahead and do that.
Significant announcement, which is the 100% tariffs, and he's shorting it up to 1 minute before that. Guys, this is some of the most blatant crime is legal moments we've seen. $190 million. And the question is, is anything going to be done? No, actually, I can already answer that for you. Probably not. But I think what we are seeing here is just the rise of insider trading across the board. Yeah. I think it's disgusting. I think it ruins capital markets, and it's bad.
So fancy.
But I don't really know what to do about it because it just seems like everywhere we're seeing the insider trading. I don't know if some of you remember there was a time where Trump was going to post on his Truth Social that it's a good time to buy crypto, and people were buying SPY calls immediately before it. But this is, this is just completely blatant stuff, just given the perfect timing of it all and the size of the bets that were made under such kind of sniper precision. At least that's what it looks like to me. But I also wanted to say this isn't the only place where this is happening.
Barron's going to be a real piece of work in a couple of years. We're going to be... It's going to be something. They're going to try to make Barron happen, and we got to do everything we can to stop this maniac. Kid, it's really going to be a mess when this kid finally decides I'm going to be a politician now. If we're lucky, he might miss his moment. Like his dad might ruin the entire MAGA movement and activate enough leftists to take this down before he even has a chance to try to claim a crown. Welcome back, Leon. Good to see you.
YouTuber Cheddar Flow has a tool where they analyze options, and they pointed out that recently there's been a big AMD announcement where they partnered with OpenAI. OpenAI is going to, receive some of their stock, and conveniently, people were making bets on that as well immediately before it.
The most insane insider trade of the entire year just happened. An AMD whale bought 6 million plus of out-for-money calls, which was super unusual. Cheddarflow actually posted on X right as that occurred.
Hey, Camel Tony, good to see you.
Only 2 trading days later, we had news that OpenAI took a 10% stake in AMD. And those calls that these whales loaded only 2 trading days before were already up 300%.
So, I just wanted to point out that it's not just crypto where this is happening. Seems like across the board. By the way,
there's nothing suspicious about this. It's called skills, okay? Haters gonna hate. I swear to God.
Love the title of this. It says this has to be illegal.
No.
Except I don't think anything's gonna happen about it. And that seems to be...
I really want to talk to a law student. Do you know anybody who's like a law student currently in America, studying law, like a first year, like a first or second year? No, anyone in any path. You know what I mean? Like, what does it look like right now? How do you teach law when law it doesn't it like so it's it, do you just go, well, you know, they're everyone else who's not connected to Donald Trump, this is the way it's going to work. But it looks like the entire system of law and order is being subverted, but only for this small group of people. For everybody else, the laws and rules still exist.
The rough
Ice King,
vibe
that does
in
count.
the industry
Yes.
recently, it's that like, hey man,
socializing.
it might
That's what I'm
not be
saying.
technically kosher, but if you can get away with it, you're probably fine. It seems
Yeah.
like most people
Hell yeah,
are
bro.
getting away with it in this market. Even the Nobel Peace Prize
Really?
isn't
Woke
safe
Patriot,
from
really?
people front running. This is the poly
Welcome
market
back,
of it,
good
and
to
as
see
you can see, this is where it finally got announced, the
this is
winner.
great.
But before that, traders were
This, the Nobel Peace Prize deserves this horrification. It absolutely deserves this. I swear to fucking, I swear to you right now, if I somehow win a Nobel Peace Prize, I'm not gonna take it, and I'm gonna take every opportunity to spit in the face of this entire organization. This whole is a joke. The award that the person that they gave it to is like a pro-genocide Zionist, right? So they give it to a drone bomb guy. They gave it to Hitler. Okay? And then they give it to a fucking Trump sycophant who wants to be a US puppet, wants to be installed by Donald Trump, and dedicates the goddamn award to Donald Trump and the people of Venezuela. This organization has got to go. It is a farce. They should have just gave it to Trump. It's like, oh, they didn't know she was going to pull that shit, because honestly it feels like a roundabout way to give it to Donald Trump. They had no idea she was a Zionist right-winger.
already basically pricing in the fact that somebody knew ahead of time
addicted to
that
Mosh.
the
You could
person
probably
who
melt it
won
down.
was going to win hours before. And they made a bunch of money
Yeah,
doing that.
he got mad
so
about
there's
it, but he
insider
was like,
trading and
she
opportunity to insider
dedicated it to
trade
me
across
anyway.
the board for people who have that sweet, sweet insider knowledge. And it doesn't seem like a lot's
Skill
being
issue,
done
bitch.
about it. In fact, specifically, the
Skill issue,
smartest thing
bitch.
to do
Get
is just
better,
know
bitch.
what Donald Trump's going to
Get
post on
good,
Truth
bitch.
Social ahead of time, since so much of our market is now just moving based on
Get good.
tariff threats. That's like where the real alpha is. It used to be you had to buy a Bloomberg
exactly.
terminal.
Beta.
Now you just have to know what he's
Beta.
going to post ahead of time, which,
That's right.
for the record, I think is a great way to run our economy.
Yeah, me too. Beta. Have some more soy, beta. Get good, beta. Remember when Martha Stewart went to jail for insider trading? Was she the last one that went to jail for insider trading? I feel like she was the last one ever. Nancy Pelosi over here, building a fucking Scrooge McDuck style vault for all the money she's made insider trading. Gonna dive into a fucking vault filled with coins. I know, I love that analogy. I'm gonna continue using the DuckTales analogy. Leave me alone. I just picture Nancy Pelosi swimming around in a pool of coins. She's like doing the coin fountain. Leave me alone. I have cartoons in my head. By the way, has anyone seen Dragon Ball? That shit is good, dude. It's like yummy. It's such a satisfying cartoon. It's so nice and light and airy and wonderful. It's just so nice. I highly recommend Dragon Ball. It's so nice. So anyway, Velshi over here. The one thing that he doesn't do is call out the Democrats, right? It's the MSNBC thing. But other than that, he's been doing a pretty decent job covering this. He's going to talk to somebody about how, of course, what we're seeing here is a pretext to authoritarianism. Pretty good segment. He sounded like such a boomer then. Leave me alone. I'm 40. I'm fucking 40, bitch. I'm 40. I can kick. Okay? I'm still here, bitch. I'm 40. Okay? I'm not watching your skibbity toilet. I'm watching Dragon Ball. This shit's awesome. All right, let's watch this.
More on this, I'm joined by the friend of the show, Jason Stanley.
40. I know, woke patriot over here. He's like, I
American
wish.
Studies at the Munk School of Global Affairs and Public
Let me
Policy
have
at
this.
the University of Toronto. He's also the author of the remarkable book, Erasing History, How Fascists Rewrite
40
the
and a
Past
half, that's
to
right.
Control
Lordy,
the
lordy.
Future. This is so central, Jason, to some of your work and some of your thinking, that storytelling is
Bugs
such
Bunny.
a powerful
I was
tool
watching that
utilized
yesterday.
by authoritarians. It is often more effective than brute force.
Bugs is great.
That's right. I mean, first of all, I want to take a little issue with your comparison to the McCarthy era. 40 academics were dismissed
40.
over their posts about Charlie Kirk. I'm not aware
me
of
too.
such a rapid mass firing of
a fun
academics in the McCarthy era.
Wow.
So I think to some extent this is
This is, I'm hearing this a lot. Like, this isn't, this isn't McCarthy. This isn't Nixon. This is worse than all of that. This isn't the Iran-Contra scandal, like what we're getting with Venezuela, like this is worse. This is worse than all of that. These people are really and truly going for it, churning America into fucking Moscow.
much worse than the McCarthy era. We've had countless people fired across countless industries. We had the Washington Post fire Karen Attiah, their only black opinion columnist remaining for utterly innocuous posts claiming it was over Charlie Kirk. Basically, people are targeting anyone whose political opinions they don't like. Looks like, the Washington.
Woody Woodpecker is especially good when you're like really fucked up, because it's so crazy and manic, like you can actually start to relate to it a little bit. But if you get really fucking cranked, that's the shit to put on Woody Woodpecker, because it's just like bang, 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 bang. Maybe some people don't like that when they take drugs. I got to remember that. Some people don't like that.
Washington Post took these innocuous comments. Attiah is left-wing, so they targeted her, or, Attiah is a journalist, so she's neither left nor right, but she didn't fit in with their new mandate. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take this as any excuse to target people whose political orientations, whose truth-telling really does not fit their narrative. And I think that they're throwing everything at this. This is more than McCarthy. It's what this is. It's an attempt to invoke the Insurrection Act, as you said. Yeah. So what they're trying to do, there's two historical antecedents to pay attention to here. And I'm not saying that we only need to draw from Europe, but they know these historical antecedents. The first is the Reichstag fire, when allegedly a communist burned down the German Reichstag, and Hitler used that. Hitler flooded the streets with Sturmabteilung, with his sort of official thugs, which is sort of equivalent to, analogous to...
Oh, look at this guy. He's making the same brown shirt comparison I was yesterday. Better clutch your fucking pearls and say that that's inaccurate, and it's also... you're dishonoring the memory of the victims of the Holocaust. Make sure you do all that performative nonsense, guys.
Sort of official thugs, which is sort of equivalent to, analogous to what it looks like is happening with ICE. And then extreme voter intimidation happened. And then after the election, he passed the Enabling Act to take full power. So that seems to be a very clear...
I mean, he was a nice guy. I like that. I actually like that person. It was something Hamburger or something, whatever the fuck his name was. I actually enjoyed that person, but I just found it, can speak 6 languages or whatever, but it's just like, that's the divide and conquer shit that the left distracts itself with all too often. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really happening. It's right in front of us, and we're still quibbling over definitions and semantics. We're still talking about, we got to be careful about generalizations and stuff. And it's like, it's really happening, when do we get serious? You know what I mean? When do we actually get fucking serious with it? But that he said he was from Nepal, and he was likely a young person. So he's if anything, he's actually engaging in a full-blown revolution right now in his country, right? So he might have more things to teach us. But I just hate that whole like, don't compare ICE to the brown shirts, if you use, and then like the memory of the Holocaust for, it's come on, just a little lame in my opinion, but whatever, moving on.
antecedent here. And the other, of course, is Kristallnacht, when a German diplomat was assassinated in Paris by a Polish Jew.
But it's not actually Kristallnacht. It's not actually Kristallnacht. So that completely discredits everything that you just said. If you can't come up with a perfect one-to-one comparison for the thing that you're saying, you're totally disqualified from saying it. And the other side is correct and should keep going with full-blown fascism. You know, it's like, come on.
And they called for the targeting of Jewish shops and synagogues.
So let's talk about, there are two arguments here. One is setting up for the Insurrection Act from a legal perspective. And one of the reasons our reporting indicates that it hasn't been done yet, because Donald Trump toyed with this in his first administration after the George Floyd protests, is because his legal advisors told him it won't hold up. So they're still working on that. What's the benefit
Supreme Court,
of casting
that was the
dissents,
difference.
whether it's journalists or nonprofits, as sort of terrorists? What does that do?
No, it's really tough, Ice King.
And going back to the Reichstag fire,
what's the definition?
What help is it to convince the public of this?
Right. So you get the fucking point. We're in fucking danger. It's really fucking happening. If you want to see the rest of this and add MSNBC to your algorithm, go ahead and do that. No problem. Good stuff. It's so good. You'll get 100 million Lawrence fucking... What the fuck's his name? Lawrence, I forget his goddamn name. Anyway, moving on. It'll come to me. I forget. It comes and goes, folks. So we're going to do another TLDR here, because this is all about Trump's tariff policy and how, I guess if you're going to assume the tariff policy is about reindustrializing America, giving it, trying to steel man it instead of straw man, Donald Trump's economic proposals. This is how you would present it, but it shows why it's not working, why it was a terrible idea from the beginning. And I don't know if it gets into the China angle much, but this is a hand-wrapped gift to China. You know what I mean? This is a red envelope filled with goodies to China, if you know what that is in Chinese culture. But we couldn't be, like Kyle Kulinski has said this, that if a person was installed by Russia or China to destroy America, they probably wouldn't be doing like anything that different than what Donald Trump is already doing. The destruction of the dollar, the position of the dollar geopolitically, if Trump loses that, it will absolutely solidify his position as America's worst president ever, without a doubt, ever. Even the guy that died like 3 months after, who was the president that died like 2 seconds after he got in there? Even he is better than Donald Trump. Wasn't there a president that kicked the bucket like 6 seconds after he won? Who was that? Am I hallucinating that one? Anyway, this is a good information, right? Because there's a lot of gaslighting. The reason why I want to show this, because there's a lot of gaslighting about, okay, what's real, what isn't real. And TLDR does such a good job breaking these complicated economic things down. Lots of charts and animations, right, for dummies like me. So let's go ahead and give this a watch.
Republicans and Democrats generally don't get along so great at the moment. But if there's one thing they can agree on, it's the need to, quote, reindustrialize America. Biden quietly kept many of Trump's first-term tariffs in place and exhausted much of his political capital pushing through the Inflation Reduction Act, which introduced generous subsidies for American industry, especially in green tech.
Wasn't like this.
While Trump isn't so keen on green tech, he's framed his trade deal.
Trump is undermining the foundational elements of American life. Like people really need to wrap their head around the amount of destruction that he's doing. And I'm not saying you're not, right? But it's just like it is really quite overwhelming, the damage that he's doing, irreparable damage. Without a full-blown democratic socialist revolution, because the neoliberals don't have it in them to restore. Like, this was open. What was the first thing we hear? Joe Biden continued a good majority of Donald Trump's tariff policies, right? Like, their ideas are the same. Their money masters are the same. Now, of course, they are different and distinct in a myriad of ways, right? I'm not both sidesing, but I'm saying the neoliberals simply don't have it in them to say, even now, go after the Supreme Court, add more seats to the Supreme Court. Gavin Newsom hasn't said it even once. Gavin Newsom hasn't even said abolish ICE. Okay, and he's supposed to be the next president, you know? So like without a full-blown democratic socialist revolution, the damage that's been done by Trump is possibly unrepairable, because if we're going to continue this duopoly, the neoliberals are not going to fix some of the systemic damage that the Republicans, the damage that the Republicans did to the constitutional government, to the rule of law, to the courts, the Supreme Courts. You know, like Gavin Newsom, is Gavin Newsom really just going to sit there while the entire system works against, that's been infested with Trump, works against him? Is he really just going to sit there, with his fucking thumb up his ass? I'm pretending to be president while the entire system around him just, completely subsumes him and delays and stops him at every step? Maybe. He hasn't made any promises to the contrary. You know what I mean? He hasn't said, "Oh, I know that's what they're going to try to do, but I'm going to lay down the fucking law, put me in there," right? He hasn't said that at all. I can't even think of a Democratic leader that has, not even Zoran. But he's not, he's not talking about president because he never can be. So that's smart. He's keeping it local, keeping it New York. But AOC, right? Where the fuck is AOC on this stuff? Where the fuck is, Bernie Sanders doesn't even talk about it like, I'm working with AOC to help her, make sure that she can rebuild America after I die. He's not doing any of that shit.
Reduction Act.
Where the fuck is the leadership?
Generous subsidies for American industry, especially in green tech. While Trump isn't so keen on green tech, he's framed his trade deals and tariffs in similar terms, promising they'll bring manufacturing back to the US and end America's alleged dependence on China. So in this video, we'll explain why America's political class is so keen on reindustrialization, and why, despite their best efforts, it doesn't really seem to be happening.
And not enough. It's not enough, Meat Shield. It really isn't enough. Okay?
Never miss an episode and always feel in the loop.
Like, they're great. I love them. I'm not canceling them, right? I'm not doing a Jimmy Dore and, AOC or like whatever, saying she's a scam or whatever. I'm not totally happy with AOC, right? But it's like, where's the revolutionary language? Where's the revolutionary rhetoric? Like, get me in there and I am going to go nuclear on MAGA. I am going to use all the powers that the Supreme Court gave Donald Trump. If by some miracle, like, we are going to have to January 6th this motherfucker just to get me in there, he's not going to leave voluntarily, even if he loses. Where's the revolutionary rhetoric? I haven't even heard, like I said, abolish ICE. We can't even talk about abolish ICE. Oh, well, then I might be perceived as being against the police, and then I'm going. That's loser shit. That's the kind of shit that got us here. Take a fucking stand.
By subscribing and ringing America. In short, America's industrial base has been gradually declining since really the end of World War II. Manufacturing as a share of GDP has fallen from about 25% in the 1960s to about 50%.
Clinton, Obama, Biden, Jimmy Carter was all down for the neoliberal economics, offshore, sending this shit, globalization. And it's like, globalization is necessary. I believe that, because we should be cooperating and working together in some kind of global economy, but it has to be done fair, and America has never done it fair. Not fair to the American people and not fair to the other countries they're working with. Leveraging the dollar every step of the way. Like I said yesterday, America throughout history, the decades and decades it's had this advantage, has not been friendly with it. Okay, they've lorded it over the entire world. The dollar, right? You're either on our side or you're not. It's created this animosity that is definitely real.
15% in the 1990s and 10% today. Similarly, manufacturing now accounts for just 8% of all jobs in the US, down from about 25% in the 60s and 15% in the 90s. Most economists see this as a natural consequence of productivity gains and globalization. Productivity gains meant you need fewer people employed in manufacturing to make the same amount of stuff. And globalization made it cheaper for Americans to import goods from parts of the world with lower labor costs, while instead focusing their efforts on more advanced and lucrative industries outside manufacturing, like tech or science. American politicians, however, aren't so relaxed about America's deindustrialization. There's now a bipartisan consensus on the need to, quote, reindustrialize America, motivated by both a nostalgia for the manufacturing jobs of old and an anxiety about America's material dependence on China, which now accounts for an astonishing 35% of global manufacturing output.
It's a big problem. And lefties in the know have talked about this for quite some time, right? I'm not talking about tankies that, like, you know, tear it all down, but lefties that are like, you know, we can, you know, they're, you know, we don't need necessarily to exploit people the way that we're exploiting, to cooperate with them economically, et cetera, have talked about how this is a major vulnerability for America. And it's really a win-win. The product gets cheaper. Americans get jobs. We get exports. When shit hits the fan, as it often does nowadays, we are better positioned to take care of ourselves. Here's an example. During COVID, Canada was 100% dependent on the United States for drug manufacturing. We didn't have any fucking plants to make the vaccine. So guess what? Canadians were deprioritized early on. While Americans got the vaccine first, we had to wait. Some Canadians had to wait. Right? We were, you know, we were too heavily dependent on America, and you know, we ended up feeling the brunt of that.
More than the next 10 countries combined. The Biden administration's reindustrialization strategy revolved around the idea of a Green New Deal, focused on emerging green industries like electric vehicles and renewables. This was mostly achieved via dishing out generous subsidies to companies in the relevant industries.
The windmill at my golf course is ugly, so I hate
Trump,
green
however,
energy.
understands reindustrialization quite differently. His administration has wound down most Biden-era green subsidies by scrapping the relevant provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act. Instead, the main mechanism by which Trump hopes to reindustrialize America is, yep, you guessed it, tariffs. The theory goes that by making imports more expensive, tariffs will redirect demand to domestically produced goods, thus supporting domestic manufacturers and rejuvenating America's manufacturing base.
No, and like if this is done correctly and slowly over decades, you know, and you're being very selective, and you know, if you're doing damage to an industry, you're subsidizing and offering tax breaks to try to make it easier for those industries to handle the shocks, right? Trying to reindustrialize America. It took decades to deindustrialize America. It's going to take decades, but this guy just pours it all on. 100% tariffs, huh? Just cranks it up so inelegant, so damaging, just waves his fat magic wand. And it's amazing to me because the oligarchy wants this so bad. The oligarchy wants the fascism so bad that they're putting up with all this uncertainty because they're like, there's got to be light at the end of the tunnel. And if there isn't, you know, this corrupt son of a bitch is going to bail us all out. You know, it's like the fiddler keeps fiddling, right? And the market keeps going up and up and up, even though there's all this insanity here. But I'm telling you, like, I feel like it's going to be the bond market. It might be something else. Could be real estate. Could be something else that you know is the ignition to this warehouse filled with leaky fucking gas tanks and barrels of oil. Talk about cartoons, right? It's a tinderbox. This whole economic situation, but the market, you know, the fiddler keeps fiddling, right? Because the party's still going on.
Supporting domestic manufacturers and rejuvenating America's manufacturing base. So, how's this all going? Well, according to the data, not great. Last week, the Institute for Supply Management's Purchasing Managers Index, which basically measures economic activity in the manufacturing sector and is perhaps the most popular manufacturing index around, found that US manufacturing activity contracted in August, its 7th consecutive monthly decline.
Right? Because, I mean, we have heard American industries being like, hell yeah, tariffs is going to be great for my industry. You know, the fledgling American steel industry, right? Hell yeah, people are going to come. But no, it's so disruptive, and coupled with what's happening with AI all at the same time, everyone is like cautiously, you know, like, no, we don't want to take any chances. We don't want to change supply routes, less orders, less business.
Similarly, manufacturing employment has fallen consistently since so-called Liberation Day, with roughly 42,000 jobs lost between April and August.
It's all too rapid.
In July, 25% of manufacturing firms
can't just
reported
change
layoffs,
this stuff on a
the
dime.
highest figure since the pandemic. Furthermore, while there's some evidence of an investment boom, which is what you'd expect in the early stages of reindustrialization, when you dig into the data, it turns out this is almost exclusively down to AI-related investments, mostly in data centers. And somewhat ironically, most AI-related imports are exempt from tariffs. Similarly, while headline data suggests the US trade deficit has narrowed slightly, this is almost entirely down to massive swings in pharmaceutical and gold imports, which saw a massive upsurge late last year as people rushed to get them into the US before the tariffs kicked in. Once you strip these out, however, the trade deficit is basically as high as it's ever been. For context, while economists don't generally see such a
and if you don't know why that's funny, because Donald Trump erroneously decided that trade deficits were a really terrible thing, and it was like basically other countries stealing from us. You know, which it's totally ridiculous, because you have a trade deficit with your grocery store. Right, you've given them more currency and taken food than you know they haven't given you any currency back, right? So what the fuck? There's a big trade deficit there. But you know, of course, you would have to ignore the food that you purchased and consumed to keep your life moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what Donald Trump is doing. Like, you know, all these trade deficits. It's like it doesn't matter that we're importing things and buying things from them, and Americans are enjoying those products. It's just he looks at the, this number needs to be different. They got to be the same. The same is better. The same is, it really is like a toddler level understanding. It's like he's running his little Minecraft economy here. It's like things need to be syncopatic.
Basically as high as it's ever been. For context, while economists don't generally see such a direct connection, Trump and his team see the trade deficit as a symptom of America's deindustrialization.
He said
the
it in a
theory
smart
here
way.
is that if America had a stronger manufacturing base, Americans wouldn't have to import so much stuff, and more foreigners would buy exported American-made goods. Trump will thus be dismayed that it hasn't really budged despite his tariffs. We should note, though, this is at least in part because Trump keeps on doing deals, like the one he negotiated with Japan and the EU, that require other countries to, quote, invest hundreds of billions of dollars in America. While this might sound great, it's macroeconomics 101 that more foreign investment necessarily means a larger trade deficit. Usually this happens via currency movements. Foreign investment into the US requires foreigners to convert their domestic currencies into dollars, thus pushing up the value of the dollar, making imports cheaper for America, and making American exports less competitive internationally. So you get the idea. While it's still early doors, the macro data suggests that America's reindustrialization just isn't happening. So what's gone wrong here? Well, mainstream economists would tell you that this is a predictable consequence of Trump's tariff policy. Tariffs enjoy an intuitive appeal. They make foreign stuff more expensive, thus advantaging domestic stuff. But this simple story overlooks the fact that manufacturing today is complicated, and most final products require lots of inputs. Tariffs make these inputs more expensive, thus ultimately making domestic producers less competitive. It's also possible that AI is crowding out other industries by sucking in all the available investment. This makes it more expensive for companies in other, more traditional manufacturing sectors to borrow and invest, ultimately undermining their competitiveness. This might sound far-fetched, but the sums being invested into AI at the moment
Well, Patriot, do you still think that after the stuff that he's been preempting this Venezuelan war? Do you still really think that?
Are truly massive. And at least some people think something similar happened during the telecoms boom.
Raj, are you insulting transgender people? Just want to make clear with that, with your comment.
In the 1990s, which crowded out investment into other industries and thus accelerated America's deindustrialization. Finally, it's difficult to reindustrialize while simultaneously pursuing a hyper-restrictive immigration policy. This is simply because, to revive or develop new industries, you need the new workers trained specifically for those industries.
Ooh, you know what this is? This is a friction weld machine. It spins really, really fast, and it creates friction, and that welds the two pieces of pipe together. It's so fucking sick.
The most efficient way to do this is to bring in workers who already...
Yeah, Promethean, I just want to make sure. You know what I mean? Because, like, trans people got it hard enough. You know what I mean? Like, do they really deserve... They don't deserve any of this heat. You know, and it's like, you know, people making... You know, I feel so bad for trans people right now because they just absolutely don't deserve what's happening to them. You know, they're absolutely victims right now in this political madness.
Have the requisite skills from countries where those industries are already well
I'm sorry, Raj.
Of course, you could train native-born workers instead, but this takes time and money. And even then, it's generally a good idea to have a pre-existing population of well-trained workers for new workers to learn from.
Exactly.
Anyway, the point we're trying to make is that reindustrializing or reconstituting any large economy more generally is difficult when you're pursuing a super strict immigration policy.
Exactly.
Especially when your native-born workforce is expected to shrink over time.
No, and this is what I'm worried about with J.D. Vance. He's the smart fascist. If Donald Trump was like, if the economy was booming, Joe Rogan would be thumbs upping all of the fascism, the crackdowns on free speech, all of it. He would be thumbs up all the way if the economy was good to go. And that's the only thing that J.D. Vance is going to fix is Donald Trump's cockamamie beliefs on the economy. He's going to let, you know, the smart guys in the room, the ruthless, smart, money obsessed neoliberals in the room handle the situation. You know, probably a lot of ex-Obama guys, you know, if I'm going to be frank. That's what I'm worried about, because if the gas price, you know, if like the trains run on time and the gas prices are low, fucking, you know, it will be Roman saluting by the sun goes down.
You saw an example of this in Microcosm last month, when ICE detained and deported hundreds of South Korean workers helping to set up a new Hyundai plant in Georgia. While the workers apparently had the wrong sort of visa, Trump quickly realized the contradictions in his two policies, putting out a hasty Truth Social post insisting he didn't want to scare foreign workers away, and has since relaxed visa regulations for South Korean workers.
Yeah, what this was really is an indication that Donald Trump doesn't have control or oversight really over what Stephen Miller and Tom Hooman are doing. They're basically allowed to do as they wish and then double check with the big guy. A lot of this stuff isn't even, you know, they don't even bother running it through Donald, which is pretty wild because it just, you know, it's ridiculous. The Hyundai plant was something he was bragging about literally weeks before the raid happened. So it was really, you know, counterproductive, but this inefficiency, corruption, incompetence, that's the word I was looking for, is part and parcel of fascist organizations. Because, you know, the people that are in charge are not there because they're good at what they're doing. They're there because they're the most vocally loyal to Donald Trump. So that doesn't make them very smart.
Workers away, and has since relaxed visa regulations for South Korean workers. All in all, America's reindustrialization doesn't seem to be happening. But to be fair to Trump...
Are you really going to what about the fascist dictatorship of Donald Trump to the meek, neoliberal, status quo, you know, administration of Joe Biden? It really couldn't be different. And I'm sure as a MAGA supporter, you constantly brag about how much Trump is getting done. Right? You brag about how much Trump is getting done, especially compared to Joe Biden, who couldn't get shit done besides an infrastructure bill, which was a big handout. Mostly. The infrastructure bill, I believe, was mentioned in this video. I'm not defending Biden. I'm confronting your overt support for fascism. Biden was an abject failure. I don't even think they should build a library for Joe Biden. You do realize that you are supporting an overtly fascist government, right? Concrete, whatever your name is. Concrete Temps. I'm just going to call you Concrete because your head is hard as concrete. You do realize you're supporting an overtly fascist government, right? Yeah, Blue Brother. Him and Pam Bondi have no idea what habeas corpus is, which is, of course, your ability to question your jailer's reasoning for jailing you. It's the foundation of fucking democracy. Yeah, and look at just so loser, dude. Is there any definition I could give you? Is there any definition I could give you that you would be satisfied with? If I pulled up a list of examples of Donald Trump exhibiting the 10 signs of fascism, would you believe me? But Biden. You're going to what about a fascist dictatorship? I'm not going to waste my time with you. So you could just like, nuh-uh, bad source. I don't believe the source. Fake news. Why? You're just playing games. You're just buying time so that your fascist dictator can continue to, have power. Get us all bogged down in a definition about a debate about a definition of a word while your guy is implementing full-blown authoritarian fascism. That's the plan, right? Waste a bunch of time, keep the lefties fighting against each other. Right. Well, it is working. It doesn't work on this channel, but it is working. So continue to spread your vile bullshit somewhere else. I'm going to continue defending liberty, defending democracy, defending the motherfucking foundation of America, the things that actually make America great. You are going to continue to overtly support a fascist dictatorship, and you think it's really funny. And it really isn't, because we're all going to go fucking broke, even way more broke than we are now. Yeah, you too. So get the fuck out of here, you piece of fucking fascist trash. What abouting a dictatorship? Well, what about the Chancellor of Germany? What about the German government was really inefficient before Hitler came along? What about that? Yeah. Big difference between the fascist dictatorship of Project 2025 screaming into place at an accelerated pace. Big difference between that and bog standard, crusty-ass Clintonian neoliberalism that we've had for, ever since I was fucking born. It's still, okay, I've talked about this before. We're still in the fun and games phase, folks. The damage that they've done to the economy, the damage that they've done to democracy and the rule of law has not washed back to hit them yet, right? So to them, it's entertainment. It's all fun and games. It's a bunch of liberals being triggered. They will never have the capacity to understand why we fight. So the best that we're going to get from these people is them going, both sides, and disengaging from democracy. Okay? We will never convince them that human rights are important, that inalienable rights and defending them is important. Democratic rule of law, proper checks and balances. We'll never be able to convince them of these things. So the best that we can do is get our asses in charge, okay, by hook or by crook, getting in that seat, making their life better, and then they'll just disengage from politics. They'll just go back to their fucking bridges. Oh, both sides. I don't know why we got to help black people. They just go back in their fucking bridges. That's the best that we can get from them, is to inspire them to disengage from politics, because their hateful ignorance is no longer accepted in the zeitgeist. That's how we defeat them. Okay? With democratic socialism, by giving them health care, by giving them education, by showing them that government is competent. But, never giving into their racism and never giving into their ignorance. Putting your foot down, making that the red line. And watch, they'll never change their fucking minds. They'll never erase the hate, the ignorance in their, you know, maybe a couple of them, right? Every once in a while, you get, you know, some that emerge from the muck. But the best we can get is them disengaging from politics because they don't feel represented. And that's a good thing, because if ignorant, bigoted racists don't feel represented in a democratic government, then I think we're doing something right. I hope you would agree. Welcome back, your boy Lenny. Make sure you're hashtag more Lenny. Make sure you're following that Lenny. We're done. Let's get to the next one. Here's motherfucker. This motherfucker, dude. God, I hate this motherfucker, dude. I've been hating this motherfucker since hating this motherfucker wasn't cool. I've been hating this motherfucker through the Bernie administration. Oh, he's not so bad. He's not so bad. He's not so bad. He's not so bad. Anyway, here he is. This is probably the best we're going to get in terms of a mea culpa. Yeah, you fucking moron. You absolute gobsmacking idiot. Joe Rogan. Here he is. This is the best we're going to get. This is what passes for an apology in the fucking fasciosphere.
Let's just talk about the immigration thing. The way it looks is horrific. When you're just arresting people in front of their kids and just normal, regular people that have been here for 20 years.
Yeah. What were the signs held up in Trump's like at Trump's speeches, right? Historic mass, immigration, whatever the fuck. Getting rid of them, deport them all, mass deportations, mass deportations, mass deportations. He saw it, and he convinced himself. He convinced himself it was just going to be the bad guys, the bad guys. What a fucking child. What a fucking toddler. This isn't Lego Island, Joe Rogan. He promised this. He promised this shit, you fucking child. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. You didn't see the motherfucking historic mass deportations, everyone cheering? Oh, that was woke. I ignored that. I scrolled past that on Facebook while taking a dump, and then I ignored it because it sounded woke. Anyway, I'm not going to pause this anymore. Just fucking disgusted with this pile of crap.
Talk about the immigration thing. The way it looks is horrific.
What the fuck? The fucking fuckity fuck. Great job.
The way it looks is horrific. When you're just arresting people in front of their kids and just normal, regular people that have been here for 20 years.
Yeah.
They're
all right-wingers.
Everybody who has a heart can't get along with that.
There's like one left-winger on a year.
Everybody who has a heart sees that and goes, that can't be right. That can't be right. That can't be the only way to do this.
Right.
Because you have to think, look, yeah, we have to have a border. Yes, it should have been secure. Yes, they should make sure you know who everybody is before they get in.
Yeah.
But when people have been here for 20 years, like, come on, man. That's crazy. Like, let's find a way. If they've been productive members of society for 20 years, no criminal record, they worked the entire time, they paid taxes, find them a pathway to citizenship. Find a way where you can do this thing.
Diametrically opposed to everything Donald Trump believes and has said for fucking years. Is this your first day, Joe? It is impossible. It is impossible for a grown adult. Okay? It is impossible for a grown adult not to know that Donald Trump was going to do this. I mean, seriously. So you know what that tells me is that, they're not doing it the right way, basically. Joe knew what the fuck it meant. Maybe, no, he didn't. He is this stupid. No, because he's not a fascist. He's a useful idiot. So he didn't see this fucking lunkhead. he needs to stay in his lane. He's said this before. Remember when he said it like a year ago, I'm done with politics, and then 2 minutes later he was talking about politics? He's got to get the fuck out of this lane.
Thing that you want to do, which is keep terrorists and cartel members from getting across the border with
Shut up.
Drugs that kill 100,000 people a year. Okay, but also have a fucking heart. Because if you don't, you're not going to get anybody on your side. If you're doing this stuff publicly, throwing women to the ground, handcuffing people, just for existing on the wrong side of the dirt.
Yeah.
Not a criminal. Not the only crime they ever committed was coming over here as a kid.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
A lot of kids got snuck across when they were already born in Mexico. And they've grown up their entire life in America. They can't even speak Spanish.
And by the way, this motherfucker right here that he's talking to is a real piece of work himself. Right-wing propaganda spreader, bootlicker, gaslighter, tries to confuse people. Oh, the left is so violent, we're so violent. Let me ignore another right-wing mass shooting that happened today. Twice a week. I won't be reporting on that. So violent. Left is so violent. Here's an eyewitness report from a recent ICE raid. Where's my music? Yeah. Need some tunage. Neighbor shielded 7-year-old during South Shore federal raid. I didn't want them to take her. During the September 30th raid, one tenant protected a terrified girl and her mom. Remnants at the complex include detailed map of all the units, offer clues to what authorities may have known before that night. They're just trashing places. They're just trashing places. This is crazy. American citizens getting treated this way. Where the fuck are the marches? Well, we got the No Kings March. You better be there, by the way, because I'm going to be there. I will be covering it. No Kings. No Kings March. You have no excuse. Look at this map. You got no fucking excuse. Look at this. Okay? Sign up, show up. Step 2, sign up, show up. Even I don't have an excuse out here in Vancouver. Even I don't have an excuse. I'll be there. Blop.org. Check out the Blop. Big list of protests. Get your shit signed up. Okay? And let me tell you, single fellas, get your ass out there. That's all I have to say. Look at this. They put the titties right there. Okay, I can't even show that. I'm going to get banned. But look, they put the titties right on the damn poster. Okay? Okay? That's all I'm saying. Single fellas. Oh, the apps don't work. Oh, I told everyone that I'm a StarCraft. I am old. I am 40. I told everyone that I'm a Fortnite master on my app, and they don't like me. I have a picture of me photoshopped next to a tiger. Still doesn't work. My testosterone took a giant nap. Hey, man. You're married, right? This is what being married, this is what it has to be. You have to have that willpower. And yeah, it's difficult. I'll just say that. Make sure you wear a mask. Don't show your face. Oh, I'm so busted, dude. I was arrested in my early 20s protesting the Iraq War, doing die-ins in front of the federal building with the Quakers for Peace. So I'm in the FBI system, in the federal system. Like, they took me down into the basement and fucking, did my whole thing, kept me in the cell. So I'm in the fucking system. I was, they had their cameras out at all the BLM protests that I participated in. So I tell you what, though, I'm going to California. You just got to show up. It's a lot of fun. It's actually a lot of fun. At the BLM protests, I carried a big old thing of water around and just handed out water to everybody. Right? Were you doing the die-ins in San Fran? Yeah, in front of the federal building. Before they moved, they built a new federal building. They moved it. But yeah, I did like 5 or 6, I believe, die-ins in a row. Before I was arrested. The second time I was arrested, I took a little break. But luckily, a pro bono lawyer who was working with the Quakers for Peace got us all off, free speech and all that. It used to matter. Like I don't know if I would get arrested now, because I have a family. My wife would be very mad at me if I was gotten arrested and I was in jail for several months. Right? She'd be very, very mad at me. So I don't know if I'm in that position anymore to get arrested like a young person might be able to. But I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And I chatted up some of the ladies. I took every opportunity, man. I'm just saying, single guys, it's a lot of fun. Single ladies too, you find yourself an inspirational man, right? Amid the smoke bombs and screams that ricocheted through a South Shore building last month during a massive military-style immigration raid, one man heard a knock on his door. On the other side was a mom and her 7-year-old daughter pleading for his help. Quote, I wasn't planning on letting her stay, but I didn't know what the hell was going on. So he came into his house and there's strangers in there. One man heard a knock on his door. Oh, no. So they knocked on his door. Okay. And then he let them in. The man said of his Venezuelan migrant neighbors, but he quickly relented. The little girl was inconsolable and hid under his bed. So that's amazing. So these people were absolutely terrified. They knock on, random, and the guy's just like, yeah, I'm going to let you in. I guess I'm the Underground Railroad. Fuck, come on in. I'd do the exact same thing. Absolutely. In a heartbeat. Yeah, get your ass in here, right? I've never seen them. I don't know who they are. Quote, I didn't want them to take her, said the man, who didn't want to be named because he fears he'll be targeted by federal authorities for his actions. And he's 100% correct. He would be. Quote, I gave her my bedroom and I just told her, just stay here. Don't open. Don't shush. Just stay quiet. He recalled telling the mom and daughter as he choked back tears. Wow, just like that. Fate comes a-calling. Fate knocks on your door, sometimes literally, right there. Could you imagine closing that door? Going back to your Xbox? No, I got a Prestige. I'm just about ready to Prestige. Closes the door. No. Do you have any pot pies? No. Closes the door. At one point, he went outside to check on things. He said ICE shouted at him to shut my door, get the fuck inside, and don't open my door again. So that's great. So they weren't, at least ICE isn't kicking down every door in the vicinity. And in this complex, the man had befriended the mom and the girl in the building's laundry room. They are among a group of Venezuelan immigrants who moved in over the past year, some with state rental assistance for asylum seekers and others without a lease, according to one longtime resident. So that's how ICE tracks people down, people that are trying to do it legitimately. They have all this information. They know where they're living. They know where they go to school. They know where they work. And they just set up little ambushes. It's like the easiest thing in the world. They show up all strapped up like they're going after criminals. They're literally going after day laborers. During the September 30th raids, residents, migrants, including the woman's husband, and squatters alike were zip-tied in the middle of the night. Other residents, like the man who helped his neighbors hide, were left undisturbed by ICE agents, prompting questions about what federal authorities knew about the building's occupants ahead of time and how they obtained that information. So just absolutely frightening. Hell yeah, Lenny. Hell yeah, dude. I will be finding a restaurant that may or may not be a McDonald's, okay? Probably the Cactus Club. And I will do like a quick, embarrassing 20-minute stream with my cell phone for everybody, okay? But I'll also record some footage, and I'll bring that back, and I'll just do a special there. But let's all attend together, right? If any of you folks live in the United States, please come on over to the No Kings protest. I beg you. It's happening next Saturday. All right, so there won't be a normal politics stream. It'll just be the, half hour or whatever live stream. Maybe if I'm lucky, I can get connected, then go outside. But check it out, folks. Here's the link, nokings.org. We really want high numbers on this bad boy. This, I never heard of it. You're going to, I've never heard of this. And then they're calling it the anti-American march, the anti-American protest. They refuse to call it the No Kings protest. That's how scared they are. It's like literally the protest that we can't name. It's like fucking Voldemort over here, right? The he that shall not be named. They don't even say the name because they know They know what they're doing. They know they're installing a monarchy. That's what, that's what Donald Trump wants. He wants to be king. They know it. They're so afraid of the word, they won't even say it. So make sure you show up, get them numbers nice and fat, nice and fucking obese, okay? I'm talking getting craned out of your bedroom style, all right? I'm talking 600 pounds. I can't even go to the bathroom. I'm talking fat. We need big numbers. Get your booty out there. And if you live in another country, buy a plane ticket, visit America next weekend. Do it. You have to do it or you're guilty and you should feel bad. I don't care that it costs $6,000. Whatever. Dump your bank account, get on a plane, go to New York. Better yet, go to south of Boston, hit up your boy Lenny, and march with your boy. Remnants of the raid and interviews with residents who lived through it reveal some hints, including a mysterious map of the building found in the complex and makeshift door stickers that took inventory of occupants in some units. So these are amateurs, by the way. These aren't people that are properly trained in any of this stuff. Leaving maps and evidence behind. What fucking amateurs. Anyway, fascinating stuff. You want more details about how these people operate, check it out. It's right here. No biggie, just fascism. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Blase. Hop on that plane, get your ass to America, and, you might get kidnapped at a political protest. Sent to El Salvador instead of back to your comfy European country. That'd be funny. Sent to a gulag. Horrible. Maria Machado is a vocal supporter of Israel's racist Likud party and openly called for a new Reconquista, referencing the ethnic cleansing of Spanish Muslims and Jews in the 1500s. This is the woman that won the Nobel Peace Prize. Right. I've already given you hints. We've already talked about the Nobel Prize earlier because it came up. I'm disgusted with it. I think it's useless. I think the whole thing is pointless. Even the science, like the whole situation, is tainted beyond belief. And I think, I said it earlier, but I think the goddamn committee knew damn well what the hell, who this woman was. And that she was going to, because she is literally basically saying to Donald Trump, I will be the puppet that you install if you invade Venezuela. I'll happily do that. She has, Vosh was saying this, she has no democratic ambitions whatsoever. 100% I'll be your puppet. And you're telling me these so-called brilliant motherfuckers over there at the Nobel Committee couldn't smell that at all? It's like they're right-wingers, It's weird. Giving it to Barack Obama was the final straw for me. It was literally ridiculous. Barack Obama, war crime Barack Obama. And he didn't slow down one bit after winning that award. It was bomb, bomb, bomb away. He thought he found the cheat code with this new drone technology. Anyway, here's a little taste of what the Nobel Peace Prize Committee thinks is a worthy recipient.
Maria Corina Machado, gracias. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you, and we'll stay in touch. And I promise one day we'll have a close relationship between Venezuela and Israel. And I believe, and I can announce this, that our government will move our Israeli embassy to Jerusalem. That will be part of our support to the state of Israel.
Wow, in God's will. Thank you so much. Thank you. Maria Corina.
There it is. Oh, I won the Nobel. Don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. Oh, he won this. He won the Nobel. This, that. I don't give a fuck. I got Chex Quest out of a cereal box. That's way cooler than a Nobel Peace Prize. So here's this tweet that he just put out, I think today. Yeah. Just kidding, bro. Yo, just kidding, bro. What you talking about, bro? What? I just threatened 100% tariffs on you, bro. Chill, we good. We good. We're going to talk about this. We're going to work this out. No, ain't no problem. Ain't no problems here. Ain't no drama here. I just threatened you. Shit the market. The market shit the bed 5 seconds before the end of the week. Taco. But here's the thing is that Xi has there's no good goddamn reason why Xi doesn't continue. Got to reboot. Okay. I'm such a cartoon head. I won't even say it. Anyway, it needs to happen, right? This comeuppance needs to happen. I don't like China. I don't want China to rule over me. I don't believe all the bullshit about China, collapsing imminently, but I also don't believe that China #1 either. That's not communism. It's a dictatorship, basically. In China, I want nothing to do with the Chinese empire, quite frankly, in terms of governance. I'd love to visit. It's a beautiful country in places. Yeah, exactly. I would rather deal with the American empire because of this facade of democracy that there's a possibility for democracy. I mean, like, convincing you, like, because there's tens of millions of Chinese people utterly convinced that democracy is a fucking joke, and like that's going to take hundreds of years to change Chinese society, to convince Chinese society that democracy is the way to go. Okay, so I would rather deal with the United States empire than the Chinese empire. But this had to happen. And if I was China, if I was running the show over there in China, I wouldn't budge. Like I said yesterday, if I was, representing the Chinese economy, I would say we go back to the pre-tariff era. You rescind every tariff. It goes right back to the numbers that they were before you started all this stupidity, and then we can talk. Nothing less. Absolutely nothing less. It's like 5% or like 3%, right? In a transitional stage to socialism, the state will completely cede its authority and embrace the demos. Oh, trust. Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Any day now. I mean, he's literally just made himself, the dictator, Xi Jinping. He's consolidated power, and everything goes through him. He's basically Vladimir Putin. Live now, Obama tried to coup Trump, and they're going to arrest him. Yeah, okay, Camel. Okay. Did he pull out like Django Unchained, like the guy from Django Unchained? He's got a gun, like in his like it's like a mechanism pops it out. So this was a great video, kind of stuff you see on TikTok sometimes. Sometimes it squeaks through the right wing, Obama Unchained. But this is great. I love this. Very, very creative. Wait, what happened? Why am I? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Very creative. Using secret police. This is fascism. Well, technically, what's your technical definition of fascism now? Are you, what's your technical definition? I go ahead and list it off so I can hand wave away all of the things that you say and waste your time as much as possible. Denying reality with consistent lies. This is fascism. Nuh-uh. Controlling media. This is fascism. What do you call CNN? Huh? Gotcha. Normalizing corruption. This is fascism. But what about Joe Biden? Rejecting election results. This is fascism. Well, you do that too. Hillary Clinton contested the results for 5 seconds in the primaries, so it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Controlling education. This is fascism. Oh, you wanted to make my kids gay. Being a right winger is so much fun. Using military on civilians. Well, Obama was going to do that, and Joe Biden was going to do that, and there were maybe, what about this example from 100 years ago? Same thing. appointing incompetent loyalist. Oh, that was Joe Biden. He was worse. Joe Biden was even worse. You know, this is so easy. This is so easy being a right winger. Rewriting history. This is fascism. Joe Biden does that too. Yeah, exactly, Blase. Exactly. I'm like owning them. Triggered. Gotcha. Yo, you're triggered. Boom. Boom. Ignoring due process. This is fascism. Oh, Joe Biden was using lawfare against Donald Trump, and he was, even though he was convicted of all the crimes, he was innocent. He was innocent. Labeling minorities as enemies. Oh, shut the hell up, bitch. Shut the hell up. That wasn't what I was talking about. We got it. We got one in the chat, folks. We got one. Here we go. What's the definition of fascism? Using fear to gain power. Joe Biden did it. Joe Biden did it too. Replacing science with ideology. The Democrats, you know, are absolutely on board for science. They really are, right? They don't reject science. It's really the only element rejecting science overtly is the right wing. But Joe Biden did it too. Joe Biden, yeah, well, Joe Biden. Oh, we got more. We got more. Accusing others of your crimes. This is fascism. Oh, Joe Biden somehow did it too. Joe Biden did all that stuff. God, okay, I can't do every one of these. Jesus. Pardoning criminal loyalists. This is fascism. Yeah, but Joe Biden actually did do this. Right, because he's over here pardoning his criminal fucking son. He was like patting himself. The Democrats, you know, throughout the entire 4 years are patting themselves on the back. Oh, Joe Biden let the justice system go after his son. You know, look. And then, you know, 5 seconds before he leaves, he pardons the guy. Normalizing political violence. I mean, that's totally 100% on the right. No, Antifa does it. Antifa, BLM were all riots. 90% of the BLM protests were peaceful. And there was also lots of evidence of agent provocateurs, but there was no doubt that there were some bad actors who were just taking advantage of the chaos. There's also examples of police intentionally leaving certain areas open, allowing people to commit chaos for a long time before they show up. But that's just, you know, conspiratorial, right? Suppressing the vote. I mean, that's 100% the right wing. You know, Democrats, to their credit, you know, outside of reinforcing the current electoral college, that terrible system, they do encourage voting, right? Because most of the time it benefits them. So that's why they do it. But when it comes to actually reforming the electoral college to allow the viability of third parties, Democrats were 100% on board with that kind of suppression. But when it comes to, you know, the day-to-day status quo that we had, they very much encouraged more people to participate and vote. Even in local elections, they would encourage that. Because shut the fuck up. How about shut the fuck up and lick my taint? Huh? How's that for an answer? Are you satisfied with that one? How about you fake news that one? Fake news that one. You're so good at licking boot, I want to feel it on my taint. Erasing and faking government data is the last one. Erasing and faking government data, which is Democrats absolutely manipulate data, keep data, you know, secret, hold stuff, right? But when it comes to outright lies, and Donald Trump over here subverting the OMB, you know, subverting all these other analysts and his ability to track people who are sick, people who are diseased, et cetera, et cetera. You know, there's no comparison. Donald Trump is 100% guilty of that shit. Who wants to bet Mr. Wurr, whatever the fuck, is doing an erroneous report on me? He made sexual advances at me. Cancel his channel. I won. Who wants to bet? Who wants to bet? He told me to lick his taint. He was making sexual harassment at me. Who wants to bet? If I get banned in the next 10 minutes, that's what's going on. Yeah, here's more perfect union. Top 10% now holds 67.4% of all the wealth in the U.S. The bottom 50% hold 2.5%. So it's not left versus right. It's up versus down. Okay? It is the extreme hyper wealthy. And like, there's, you know, that's not even being like facetious. These people are obscenely wealthy. And it's not like the old days where they were building museums and building parks, you know. It's all about them. It's all about their, you know, like right now they're dumping it into AI. They're like, yeah, this is the end of labor. We're going to get finally. I don't know if I put it in the Discord or not, but someone put it perfectly that, yeah, I don't think I put it in there. I really should have. But someone had a really brilliant tweet where they were like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but they were basically saying, you know, this AI revolution is giving the opportunity for the owner class, the rich, to utilize skill without depending on human beings to trade their labor, right? So they get all their expertise, they get to utilize all their expertise, the human expertise, but they cut the human out of it. Isn't it funny how Mr. Wurinar is no longer chatting? I really shouldn't fall into the traps. I just can't help myself. But they come in here doing that with the intention of getting yelled at, and then they try to erroneously report. I shouldn't fall into the trap, but I just can't help but tell Republicans to lick my taint. I can't help myself. God help me. It's an addiction. All of their problems are this problem. All of their discourse is the distraction from this, and I agree with that. Because it really is a class situation. It really is. These and they'll scream and cry and whine, and they'll say it's the fucking apocalypse. You know, if we take over democratic socialists, you know, and start taxing these people, they will just go bananas. Using every media mouth, you know, the Kevin Learys of the world, tears down their fucking face. Like you will see Oscar-worthy performances, but I assure you, they can afford it. Oh boy, can they afford it, and still live an obscenely wealthy lifestyle. You know, and that's really the crime of it, is that it is win-win. I'm not saying like taxing the rich is the solution to every problem, because it's not. But it just for justice's sake, just for the sake of justice, they need to be taxed appropriately. Not even just to fund whatever program, whatever it is. Just for the sake of fairness and justice, they need to be taxed appropriately. Howard Zinn said that the guards revolting is what is required. Yeah. Howard Zinn, fucking genius. Love that man. This is from your boy Strategy Member. I had to translate the page. I used my special, I clicked a translate button and it did it for me. These things used to be difficult. I remember a time when these things used to be difficult. But no, this is pretty amazing stuff. Images of the evacuation of the rail blockade in the port of Rotterdam. Riot police have ended the blockade of the railway line in the port of Rotterdam. The track has been reopened, a police spokesman reported. Protesters from the Geef Tenagas Give Backwards group had blocked the railway line near, oh, come on with this, Van de Langenplaat? Van de Langenplaat. Oh, beautiful word. And M. Haven. More than 300 of them were arrested. The police reported, adding that vandalism was caused and that one officer was injured. Geef Tenegris demands that the port of Rotterdam immediately implement a full arms and trade embargo against Israel. My man. Against Israel, and stop importing products and raw materials from areas where human rights are violated. The action group also wants the port to reduce its emissions and pollutants. Blase, I apologize. I truly do. I truly do. I'm so sorry. Okay. I didn't really graduate high school, as more of they just kind of kicked me out and said, sure, here's a degree, never come back. That's kind of more the situation. They're chanting Free Palestine.
Wordt daar geweld gebruikt.
What a beautiful language. Such a beautiful language. A block, a block, a block, a block. Oh, thank God. Well, look, the police are justified in ending this disruption. Maybe not with tear gas, maybe not with billy clubs, but, you know, like, leftist activists have to accept that what they are doing is illegal and disruptive, and they have to accept that there will be, you know, in some cases, and in this case, legitimate, like, okay, maybe it's not safety, but it's like, you know, the police have a legitimate reason to be removing people from the train tracks. Obviously, we can't have them there forever, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So we have to accept that what we're doing is illegal, with the obvious purpose being disruption, attention, you know, costing industry money, you know, costing, you know, like saying, you know, we're not going to stand for this, like making a stance, you know, making that. But we also have to accept that, you know, that what we are doing is either erroneously illegal or appropriately illegal. Like it should be illegal to deface the Mona Lisa, right? We can't just make that legal, okay? So that's the sacrifice of activism, is that we have to accept that responsibility sometimes in what we're doing, right? Because what we're doing is higher in some cases. It's morally more important than the rule of law, you know, than the fucking law of man. It's more important to prevent mass child death, mass child starvation, than to worry about, well, it's technically loitering, technically disruption, you know, we're walking around a fucking, you know, a railway station, you know, very illegal, very dangerous, right? But it's more important. You know, what's happening in Gaza is more important than that. You know, that's the statement made. But along with that, you know, along with, you know, that obligation to act comes the acceptance of punishment when it comes to you, if it comes to you, right? That's the sacrifice. That's where sticking your neck out. That, you know, it's not it. If you care, right, it's worth it. If you don't care, then it's not worth it, right? If democracy and liberty and the rule of law and, you know, having a appropriate future for your children is not that important to you, then, you know, then they should get off the train tracks, right, and stop trying. But if those things are important to you, then sometimes you have to break legitimate and illegitimate laws. I say this quite a bit, but I like to, you know, it's important to remember that everything the Nazis did was legal, you know. Maybe not in the early days, you know, the beer hall putsch and all that kind of shit, right? With, you know, them just doing violence against people. But once the Nazis were in charge, all the state violence, all the oppression, the anti-free speech stuff, all that became legal. So, you know, that's why it disgusts me when people go, oh, well, it's illegal. They're illegal. Because it's like, are you, you know, I mean, that's what they said to our founding fathers before they got on the fucking boats and left. You're breaking the law. You're breaking the law. Don't do that. Don't do that. Well, you know, they had to lie and lie to the guy and say that we were going to do this for the king. And that's a different thing. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? They had to get the fuck out of there. Right. Ouch. Ooh. Okay. All right. Look, it's, I guess I prefer this over than the, Fallujah cosplaying ICE agents with automatic weapons that they're not allowed to use, but they're locked and loaded at any time. I guess I prefer this.
Ja, je ziet toch dat het niet kan? We staan helemaal voor. Wat heeft dit voor zin? Wat heeft dit voor zin? Wat heeft dit voor zin? We staan er toch?
This is the appropriate amount of force for this situation, which is like, you're breaking the law. You're not allowed to be here. We're not talking about banning your free speech rights or anything, but you got to get off. Eventually we're not going to bust out the machine guns over here. We're going to treat you like human beings, but obviously, we're not going to congregate. I think it's so dangerous. Someone could legitimately die if you were just to let people to congregate with all this electricity and stuff everywhere. But the cause is legitimate. The disruption is legitimate, right? So this is the push and pull. This is the messiness of democracy.
Die waarschuwing geef je nu.
Oh, see that's unjust. That's unnecessary, right? But this is how you protest properly, right? You go limp. This is the cop almost broke my wrist one time doing this, right? But you go limp like a corpse. You make it as difficult as possible for them to remove you. You make it expensive. You make it expensive for the cops to be. This is OT for the cops. You try to stretch it out as long as possible. And yeah, they're going to mess you up a little bit. They're going to rough you up a little bit, try to get you out of there, use they call it pain compliance. So, look at that, bopping people right on top of the head. That's unnecessary, bro. That is unfucking necessary. Yeah, the frog guy, I'm glad you brought that up, Simply Steve, because the frog guy, soon those people in those costumes will be made an example of. They're going to brutally crack down. They won't even need to do like a special law. You're not allowed to wear costumes at a protest or whatever. Like, they're just going to tell their boys, okay, we're going to arrest all these assholes in costumes. Because it's really effective. It's really, really effective when you just how ridiculous, it's a war zone. You can't even go to a store. It's like Twisted Metal level 1. It's crazy. You wouldn't believe it. I'm sorry with the esoteric references. Should I just make references to Marvel movies just so everyone's on the same page? Why am I insulting people? What the fuck is wrong with me? You guys know what Twisted Metal is. Come on. It was like a burned down city. Is that level 1? That might be level 2, actually. Level 1. No, that's World Tour. That happens in Paris. Yeah, level 1, Twisted Metal, is in that urban center. That's all fucked up. I was watching Baron play this documentary. It looks so real. It reminded me of Portland. So Washington Post over here, owned by Jeff Bezos. You heard it right. Don't do it, Unix. Don't do it. But owned by Jeff Bezos, and they're falling right in line, licking them boots. President Trump has made clear that he is eager. I was joking. Where's my Jeff Bezos? Where's my Jeff Bezos? Where's my bald man? Where's my bald boy? There he is. There's my bald boy. There he goes. There's my chippy. No, listen to this. President Trump has made clear that he is eager to use the might of the American military and the resources of the federal government to crack down on what he sees, caveat, as domestic threats, violent crime, illegal immigration, and the Antifa movement. Wow, what a hero. What a hero. So this, a man who has no name, who's on Blue Sky here, supports Ukraine. You're still here, Warrenaw? How'd the report go? How come they're not banning me, bro? How'd the report go? Was it juicy? Did you clutch your pearls? But no, this man who has no name here, non-existent violent crime and non-existent Antifa, you pathetic complicit rag. Get him. Get him. We got a citizen journalist alert. We got a car video for you. It's nice to see the ladies expanding into the car video scene. Okay, too long has this been the domain of dads who just need to get the fuck out of the house. Okay, the wife is going to kick me out if I make another political rant in front of my cell phone in front of the kids. Crime being down mean anything? Nope. Nope. No, they just hand waved that away. JD Vance hand waved it away. I think I have it in here, but he said he goes, "You can't trust the numbers." Classic, right? Like there's literally no point in debating these people. There's no evidence you can present them that can change their minds. You know what I mean? Like, it is a total waste of time, exactly the way Sart described. You know, talking about the anti-Semite. Sart just absolutely fucking nailed it. It's a game to them. Any evidence presented is hand waved away. But many children can soon lose their right to go to school in the U.S. So this is no joke. Citizen journalist here giving us the straight dope. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. From the fucking Camry. Let's go. She's picking her kids up from school. Got a couple minutes. Dropping a real one. Okay. Then picking the kids up from Kung Fu. All right. Busy mom. Let's go. T on Tyrants is the name. Nice. Like the name. Dropping the T on the tyrants. Love it. Actually fucking love that.
Federal government is turning their back on disabled kids. Department of Education.
So this is relevant to me, of course, because my son is blind and I'm moving back to the United States. So this is actually 100% relevant to me. I forgot to mention that part.
Federal government is turning their back on disabled kids. Department of Education just went on a firing spree, and guess who they fired? Employees from the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitation Services. Exact office that makes sure kids with disabilities get the services that they are legally required to get. These are not random jobs. These are the people that make sure schools follow federal law. That kids get their IEPs, that parents can call this office when they are being ignored and their kids are not getting access to a free education.
No, I can tell you, even here in Canada, you have to be a squeaky wheel to get these services, right? Even here in Canada, the resources are tight, and you have to really prove that you need them to obtain them. So cutting off your ability to even, call anybody to try to, be that squeaky wheel makes it even more difficult. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just like leave my blind kid at the steps of the fucking Capitol and say, hey, can anyone fucking help me out here? Right? I just got to, pull out the soup can, start begging for change. What the fuck I got to do,
Without them, there is no one left to.
Yeah, well, Patriot, it's like, the shit. I saw that too. I'm not even going to bother wasting my time, but it's like a fucking parody, right? Woke Patriot? They know damn well it's a joke. It's a joke. He knows damn well that he's fucking subverting democracy, the foundation of fucking America. He knows that. Sacrificing liberty for safety. They think it's funny. They think it's fucking funny, Woke Patriot. We're winning. We're winning. We're going to win. We're going to install our tyrant and delete leftism from the world. And they're already doing a fucking victory lap. This battle has just begun, guys.
Hold schools accountable. I need people to understand this.
Yeah,
no one will be checking if funds are going to be used properly. No one is going to be checking if kids are getting the proper speech, the proper occupational therapy, the proper physical therapy that they need in schools.
It's expensive.
The learning support.
It's expensive. Just to give you an example, I have a walker device that that for my son helps him. Helped him in the early days. He doesn't really need it anymore. But it was over $5,000. And it's like, it was rather necessary to his early development to have this, and if I would feel like I'm failing my son if I wasn't able to afford that. And if it wasn't for government assistance, which is because we don't actually own it. We're basically borrowing it. Then when we're done, we give it back so that another person can use it, et cetera, et cetera. So we end up not having to pay anything. But I mean, this is a big deal. We're talking about millions of Americans who have disabled kids of various ages, you know, not being able to provide a basic living standard. Okay, because if you're not able to have this stuff, their development degrades even further. And it's like, you know, and you can't make up the difference. It's unbelievably cruel. It really is unbelievably cruel.
They promise the learning support that my own son needs. I am honestly so goddamn pissed. This is not budget trimming. This is abandonment.
Yes.
They are cutting the lifelines of families that already have to fight every single day. So if you care about protecting children, if you've ever said that you're pro-life, this is the shit you should be standing up for. Because right now, the federal government is turning their back on disabled kids. And if you don't speak up, no one will.
It's true. Yep. Make sure you're checking out T on Tyrants on TikTok. Actually, you better just get off TikTok. TikTok has really legitimately been bought by Israel. It will soon, if it hasn't already, churn into unbearable pro-Israel slop. You know, you'll be scrolling and every other video will be one of these, like, you know, bought and paid for influencers. Hey, over here in Tel Aviv, I don't see no genocide. We're having fun. Woo! You know, like, it's going to be unbelievably unbearable. And of course, any kind of real information like Mrs. T on Tyrants, ban, progressive ban, lefty ban, pro-Palestine, ban, right? Okay, I've had enough of you. Woke Patriot, go ahead and get your final ding in, then I'm going to flush this turd.
Actually, I totally disagree with you that we shouldn't be sacrificing our liberty for safety. I personally want a daddy dictator who takes care of me and scares away all the brown people and foreign people, and so everything is white and pure. That's what I think. I don't feel safe with all these other cultures.
So go ahead and get your final lick in before I flush. Derek over here at Blue Sky with a good one. About a month ago, the Trump administration got rid of de minimis exemption, whereby packages valued under $800 could slide in without import duties. Now there's a backlog as the government can't process all of this paperwork, leading to UPS just destroying packages. So basically, they don't have their shit together. They ended this de minimis exemption. Welcome back to Salazam. Yeah, thank you, Woke Patriot, for your correct words there. Everyone say goodbye to Mr. Dickhead. Bye-bye. Flush it. Thank you for the erroneous report. I look forward to being banned for several weeks. Appreciate it. But no, so this is great. You know, it destroyed thousands of small businesses instantly by removing this de minimis exemption. And they don't have their shit together. No one's paying, you know, no one knows when to pay the fucking tariff or how much to pay. So now UPS is, in some cases, I heard this on the radio, in some cases destroying packages. In other cases, they're just like, we've lost them. They're somewhere. We've sent them back. So it's total chaos. It's total fucking chaos. Yeah, exactly. Irrelevant. No, I agree, because it's like,
I think there's a lot of benefit to bootlicking. I think, you know, I think we should have a police state that kidnaps people at will, and I think I should have an app that allows me to report my ethnic-looking neighbor that smells like marijuana. I think I should be able to sick ice on them. I need to feel safe.
Kind. I'm going to call you Kind. Welcome back. How's life in Nazi Germany? Great. Over to the next thing here. ICE secretly kidnapped autistic boy during a bathroom break, and then they never notify the family. So they just scoop up a 15-year-old kid who has the mind of a 4-year-old, They don't tell the parents. The parents think he fucking walked away, walked into the goddamn woods. Yeah, exactly, Woke Patriot. Mother reported him missing a week ago. Turns out ICE had him detained the whole time. He was helping sell fruit and asked to go to the restroom. By the time she was done helping a customer, he was gone. Mother called local police to file a report, but even they couldn't find out he was in ICE custody until 6 days later. It's especially worrying because the 15-year-old boy reportedly functions like a 4-year-old child due to his autism. He is currently still detained at the detention center in Texas. He's still in jail. In one of their little ICE gulags in Texas. What, are you going to put him to work next? He's like, where's my trains? Where's my cartoons? But he is in the body of a 15-year-old teenager. Yeah, woke patriot. They don't believe it. It's like he's being ironic almost, where he's like, yeah, I'm admitting it. Yeah. Actually, I think it's really the smart way. You know, it's like he's playing a game. And what he wants to do is trigger us, wants me to say something that he can report me on. It's a game. Just like Sart said, it's a game. Right? But we know that. So we just play with him and then we flush him. Yeah, exactly. Blasé. So pretty disgusting stuff. And there's just anybody who's brown, scoop him up, kidnap him. Where did they kidnap him in the bathroom? Right? You know, did they let him finish taking a piss? You know, or did they, before that? Or it's just unbelievable. Then they don't tell anybody. They don't even tell the parents. They don't even tell the cops. Yeah, woke patriot. So I mean, it's abolish ICE, right? That's all we need to know. Abolish ICE, like we've always known from the very beginning. Abolish ICE from the very beginning. It's never been more clear. So here's some examples of J.D. Vance. He's hitting with the weekend circuit here. So here's some of what he had to say. Brennan asking, CBS confirmed the Trump administration rescinded the layoffs of CDC scientists. So they rescinded like 1,000. They were like, oh, okay, well, you asked for it, Democrats, so we're going to fire the CDC. So they dumped like 1,000 people or something. And then literally like hours later, they're like, literally like, whoops, we didn't mean to do that. And we're technically literally rehiring them. How many, this is what, the third, fourth, fifth time they've done this? Vance responded with a lie. The government shutdown inevitably leads to some chaos, so it's the Democrats' fault that they fired so many people. It happened because of Schumer. Schumer, guys. We're going to do it. We're going to fire you. We're going to fire, and there's all going to be Democrats, all the Democrat stuff. We're going to kill all the Democrat stuff. Nothing that helps Republicans, trust me. If you're a Republican, you won't be touched by any of this. Whoopsie doodle, come on back. Whoopsie doodle, sorry about the CDC. Oh, yeah, no. I mean, maybe preventing the next COVID is a good idea. Oh, sorry. So, why would you do this, Chuck Schumer? Here's another example. Stephanopoulos asking, I asked if you agreed with President Trump that Governor Pritzker has committed a crime, because now they're talking about arresting Governor Pritzker. Meanwhile, his police are cooperating with ICE. Vance, I think Governor Pritzker has allowed a lot of people to be killed. I think that it's disgraceful and absolutely should suffer some consequences. Okay. Oh, so the governors and the mayors are responsible for the murders that happen in their city directly. So I guess all the right-wing mayors and governors, in Texas, in Kentucky, where the murder rate's way fucking high, same thing, right? Oh, no. Don't look into it. Don't think about it too much. Don't think you ruined it. You ruined it by using logic. Stop using logic. Remember, we get to make the rules. We get to do whatever we want. You are the inhuman cockroaches. Stephanopoulos replied, it's really a yes or no question. Do you believe he's committed a crime? George, if you're going to keep on asking this question, I'm going to keep on telling you he has failed to do his job and should suffer some consequences. He's violated his oath of office. That seems criminal to me. So yes. Yeah, arrest J.B. Pritzker for the gang murders or whatever, right? That happened, in Chicago last week, right? Because there's crime and murder and gang activity in the city. it's like 36% lower than it was a couple years ago, right? It's going down, but there's still crime. Yeah, there's crime in cities. That's what it happens every single day. Big cities have crime, right? They're not utopias. And by the way, all the guns, the easy access to guns, and and all the other situation, all the other things that the poverty situation, the education situation, it all contributes towards crime. So, I mean, this is wild stuff. It's fascistic stuff. They're just saying whatever. They're literally just saying whatever. Their conclusion is that we get to arrest our political opponents. We get to arrest people who use free speech, who dissent against us. There's probably going to be mass arrests at the No Kings protests. He makes a big fucking show of it or something. So, I mean, you probably saw this, but here's Donald Trump saying Joe Biden's FBI planted 274 specifically, exactly 274 agents into the crowd on January 6th. So I guess this is the next lie that Kash Patel is going to have to tell. Right? This is the next lie. Trump's not a pedophile. He won the 2020 election. And there were Joe Biden FBI agents. By the way, if you missed the big detail here, he was the fucking president during January 6th. It was his guy in the FBI. I don't know who it was at the time. Was it Brennan? I don't know. But it was his guy in the FBI. It wasn't Joe Biden's FBI. None of that matters anymore. None of that. Does it really matter anymore? It's just all lies. It's all absurd lies. Here's another one from Vance. Welker asking, are you seriously looking at invoking the Insurrection Act? Vance replying, the president is looking at all of his options. Right now, he hasn't felt the need to, but we have to remember we're talking about this because crime has gotten out of control in our cities. Crime is down in both Chicago and Portland. So here it is. This is what I was talking about, Woke Patriot. Vance replying, crime is down in Chicago and Portland, often because they're so overwhelmed at the local level that they're not even keeping the statistics properly. So even though the stats show crime going down, it's such an apocalyptic situation. They're so overwhelmed that they actually don't have time because the crime situation is so completely out of control that they don't even have time to do proper record keeping. Okay. I know there's millions of right-wingers that want to believe this, so they choose to believe it. But anybody outside of that bubble who are kind of like, they know something's up, but they kind of like, this is my side. My daddy was a Republican. I'm a Republican my whole life. I can't throw it away. I've attached my entire personality to this. I got a fucking Trump sticker, et cetera, on my truck. Right. So I get there's that crowd that's like, oh yeah, okay. Is that what daddy's saying? Okay. That's what daddy's saying. I'll repeat that. But even independents, of course, leftists are scoffing, but anybody, any schmuck, any, regular Joe, they're not buying this. They're not fucking buying this, dude. Human beings are just not this stupid. There's just no fucking way. So you're either willfully stupid, or you're like, okay, that's a bunch of bull. So we got an update to that, we've seen the right wing, go full blast on the propaganda. I bet you even XQC and Asmongold have covered this. Like, whoa, bro, look at this. They're attacking ICE. Oh my God, ICE is totally justified in mag dumping. Oh, these people are animals. Look at them attack ICE. We should kill all lefties, right? Right. So I'm pretty sure they were taking full advantage of this. Well, turns out, here's the real story. Woman shot by ICE agents in Chicago last Saturday has been released from custody. This is how innocent she is. Today by judge, since body cam footage contradicted the government's claim that she drove towards the agents, right? Because that's what they're saying. Oh my God, she's attacking ICE. I can't believe these fascists on the left are so dangerous. Instead, it revealed the agent saying, do something, bitch, before pulling over and shooting her 5 times. Which is exactly what I thought was happening. So they I don't know if he got out of the car, but he had a gun out. He's got a fucking mask on, right? He's all tacked out. Do something about it, bitch. And she fucking panics, and she does the right thing, quite frankly, slams on the gas, slams into the back of the truck that's in front of her. She thinks this is like a fucking, either a gangland style killing, a fucking mafia style, cartel style kidnapping. Okay? She doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Slams on the gas and gets the hell out of there, and they mag dump her fucking truck or car or whatever the fuck it was as she's doing it. This stuff will continue to happen. They're already super brazen with it. They're already doing drive-bys with the pepper guns. They're pulling in like cartel members like in front of cars. Pulling out of fucking Pontiac Sea Breeze fucking mom vans and U-Haul trucks to kidnap people en masse, gangland style. So, I'm not saying it should happen. I'm not saying they deserve it. I'm saying it's inevitable. You treat people this way, there will be people who don't comply, who don't respond in the way that you want them to your authoritarianism. Yeah, exactly, Lenny. I mean, that's going to be coming next. Is qualified immunity. You can, if you kill people, that's fine. Unless you're totally egregious, you won't even get kicked out of the organization, right? But if you pop a couple mouthy brown people, okay, not a big deal, right? That's coming next. That's coming next. If you kill an American citizen once in a while, I mean, they probably had it coming. They were probably a leftist that was getting in your way, right? So they probably had it coming. That's what's happening. I guarantee it, dude. Take that shit to the fucking what is it? Overcoat warehouse? What was it? Take that shit to the Burlington Coat Factory, because I guarantee it. Does anyone know what the fuck I'm talking about? Does anyone at all? Okay, watch. I only need to type "I guarantee it" in here. How do you spell? Watch. I love this commercial. I guarantee it. Look at this. Number one result.
I guarantee it means more than just price.
That's right.
It means service.
That's right.
It's not necessary to sacrifice.
Right. Call me the Burlington Coat Factory.
Service or quality.
That's right.
To get a good price.
That's right.
At the Men's Warehouse, you get all three.
Oh, it's the Men's Warehouse. Sorry, I thought it was the Burlington. It's the
service.
Listen to this
quality,
guy. Quality,
and a good price.
That's right.
And every time you are courteous.
This guy's soaking it in. This guy's he's like, wow, this guy's the next Jesus fucking Christ. Look at the attention.
Somebody, remember that I am back in the office.
That's right.
Standing on my desk cheering.
That's right.
Because that's what retailing is all about.
That's right. You're not going to end it with "I guarantee it." I just made everyone watch this entire fucking thing, and he's not going to end it with "I guarantee it." Where's my "I guarantee it"?
Ironing's a hassle. That's why Men's Warehouse offers all cotton, non-iron shirts that look and feel as good in the evening as they do in the morning. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. Okay, I'm Men's Warehouse. Have I stretched this joke out enough? Okay, well, that's fine, because this isn't working. Go on to the next thing. So here's some more live footage. Like the inflatable animal situation is appropriately getting out of hand. People are just ordering whatever they can get and showing up. They're like, fine, I need a Halloween costume anyway. It's perfect synergy for the time. And they're turning the fucking protest into a furry convention. Okay? I guarantee it. They're turning the protest into a furry convention, folks. This is great. They got giraffes and Pokemon, pandas and sharks and raccoons. This is great. Like I said, this is effective, right? It's very effective at ridiculing and mocking ICE and mocking Trump. So they're gonna crack down on these. They're gonna say it's like hiding your identity or something. They're gonna crack down. It's way too effective. It's Animal Crossing, totally. We got a black cat. We got a unicorn. It's a lot of fun. We got a dinosaur back there. Just a lot of fun. People having a lot of fun. I'm just trying to identify all the animals. So we got a dinosaur. We got a polar bear. We got a peacock. Look at the peacock. That's cool. Unicorn. Okay, then we've seen the rest. That's great. And it's ironic because these are actually very effective armor against the pepper balls. It doesn't get to your skin. It just bounces off the inflatable costume. Nintendo might sue ICE for doing exactly. No, Nintendo would. The lawyers are looking at this and are like, can we sue? That's a Pokemon character. Can we sue? We should sue. We got to sue this person. Fucking Nintendo would fire a cruise missile if it could. The Panda's an Antifa stormtrooper. Dangerous stuff. Look at that. No, you can see the murder in his eyes. You can see the fucking pure hatred. It's that TDS. You can see the TDS fucking oozing. Nintendo cruise missile. Let's go. Oops. Trump health official admits half of sweeping layoffs at CDC were a mistake. So I wanted to give you a couple more details here. Donald Trump's administration is walking back about half of the reported 1,000 health agency cuts. So they just, and they're like, it's the Democrats' fault. Oh, it's a bullet bill. Of course. What am I talking about? Of course it'd be a bullet bill. You're so smart, female eunuchs. So they're trying to be like, it's the Democrats' fault. The Democrats made me do this. I had no choice. We got to do it. We got to ruin people's lives. This is the Democrats' fault. You're going to blame the Democrats, right? You're going to blame the Democrats, not us. Just the Democrats, right? You're not going to blame us. It's not going to fucking work, dude. You're in charge of everything. Okay? Even the fascists know that. It's not going to work. Oh, well, yeah, everything's shitty because of the Democrats. These fucking weak, feckless fucking, I know, I always say feckless, but the goddamn it they are. Okay? This completely neutered, cucked organization called the Democrats. Super powerful, deep state. They're in charge of everything, even though I've very intricately purged them from every inch of government. It's still their fault. It's still their fault. No one's gonna fucking buy this. No one's buying it. In the future, when they ask at least I'm not buying it. I don't know. I mean, is regular America really going to buy this? It's the Democrats' fault. The Democrats did it. That's the Democrats forced us to cut all these jobs and ruin the economy. Is it, is it even working now? And there's no fucking way it's going to work when the economy actually does take a shit. They think we weren't serious. We should have torches and pitchforks, not Pikachus. No, I mean, Camel Tony. No. Right now, it's effective at ridiculing what is obviously an attempt to create a problem. I think if you came out with pitchforks and torches and with violence, you're actually creating the environment that Donald Trump wants to see. He'll have that camera right in front of you holding that torch, saying you should be afraid. But you can't point a camera at a fucking Pokemon, it's someone wearing a Pokemon costume doing a fucking booty shake dance. You can't point at that and go, it's the end of America, it's the apocalypse coming for you. You can't do that. But if you go out there with your torch and pitchfork, well, you're kind of central casting for the theater that Donald Trump wants to put on for America. Right? So I think it's actually the perfect strategy right now. It does leave them physically vulnerable. And like I said, ICE will be making an example of these people in costumes, aggressively tackling them and arresting them, et cetera, et cetera. It will happen. And the reason why it'll happen is that it's effective. So anyway, I'm sorry. It was the Democrats' fault. It was Chuck Schumer's fault. That's why we did it. Literally what J.D. Vance said. It's Chuck Schumer's fault. That's why we fired 1,000 people instead of the appropriate number, which is 0. Here's ICE, fascist ICE, brown shirts ICE. Hope that doesn't offend you. Pulling a gun on an unarmed person. So we're seeing this more and more. These completely untrained meatheads who don't know how to control their emotions. Who get overwhelmed in the situation, they're not trained properly and they're fully strapped and they start waving their fucking gun around. Look at that shit. Wow, yeah, no, get her. Are you trying to take her van for a future fucking operation? Is that why? We need your van. We load it up with a bunch of tough guys. We're gonna go to a school and kidnap a child. Get out of the car. You're taking your Seabreeze to the elementary school. We're gonna kidnap a couple kids because they're brown. So look at that shit, right? If you drive away, we're gonna mag dump you. Your fucking life is in my hands, bitch. Oh, and he's not even doing a legitimate arrest. He just said, "Oh, you hit my car. You hit my car." So just like any kind of anything, right? These guys are like ready to flip out on anybody at any time. Man, I'm telling you, dude. Powder keg. This is incredibly dangerous stuff. We are going to see unfortunate behavior on both sides. You better watch out, bitch! I'm gonna fucking mag dump you! So yeah, they're kidnapping somebody in the process, so that's what's going on. That might be his wife in the car. Yeah, and once again, Americans, mind your own business. A lot of apolitical folks out there, they see this fascist shit happen, and they flip out. They're like, not here, man. This isn't Moscow. This is, they wig out. I've never, ever in my life seen public response to police action in my entire life. Never have I seen that kind of just like, this is not happening here. People just busting out their cameras and normies getting in the face of cops. Shit's wild. It inspires such hatred. It inspires such negativity towards this organization, but they know it. That's the dangerous thing. Russell Vought knows it. Donald Trump, I think, is somewhat aware. I think he thinks it's novel. I think he thinks we're weak. He's right that the Democrats are weak, but he doesn't understand that there's millions of people that the Democrats don't represent that will fight tooth and nail. Right? He thinks he's up against Chuck Schumer and the fucking Democrats. Oh, what do you mean? They're just going to roll over. It's no problem. All of America is like the Democratic Party, right? Not quite, Trumpy. Not quite, okay? Not all of us are getting aroused like Chuck Schumer said. Fucking cuck Schumer, exactly. That he doesn't represent America, and that Donald Trump thinks that that represents the left. Man, he's got another fucking thing coming. Here's some awesome news. Here's an ICE vehicle getting towed. It was parked illegally at St. John's Hospital, so here it is getting towed away. Hell yeah. Yeah, they earned the hate big time. They want to be hated. They love it. Oh, cool. Right, and as you know, ICE has been going to hospitals and literally hanging out, just sitting back, cooling back at the entrance, finding a nice little pocket to hide themselves in. Sometimes in the image that I showed a month ago, they use a hospital sign to kind of obfuscate, and they just sit there waiting for brown people. Show me your papers. Then they pop out. Show me your papers. Show me your papers. I got a broken leg, dude. Or, I got kidney stones, man. Can this wait? Nope. Show me your papers. I want to deport you right now. Can I get my medical thing fixed? Nope. Gotta go. We're kidnapping you right now. It's literally waiting at hospitals for brown people to show up so that they can harass them and ask for their papers. Some of the most racist shit I've, literally ever seen in my fucking life. And it just happens every single day, man.
We have some.
I believe this is from Woke Patriot or possibly somebody, maybe Dirty Crackhead over there. But we have another, citizen journalist giving us an example of a fuck around and find out story here. It's a little schadenfreude. So enjoy some fuck around and find out news. We're spilling some tea here. All right. I love spilling some tea. I'm going to go spill some tea right now, if you know what I mean. I don't.
F around and find out news. If you don't know who Riley Gaines is, go look at her page. She is a pick-me girl who is a blonde Trump supporter. Very, very typical. If you look up Webster's Dictionary, Trump woman, it's just Riley's picture. Riley happens to be married to an immigrant. Let's see what she got in the mail recently.
Just got another letter from Immigration Services.
That's so sad. Can you tell us what it's about?
I'm a U.S. citizen, born and raised in Tennessee, went to college at University of Kentucky, met my husband there. He's an immigrant. He moved over to the U.S. for college on an athletic scholarship from England.
So just so we're all on the same page here, Riley, I'm hearing that your husband moved here from another country. Okay, go on.
We've been married almost 3 years now. We're coming up on 3 years. So you would think he is well on his way to achieving his citizenship, or at least having his green card, right?
Hey, babes, guess what? You voted for and dedicated your entire TikTok page to a man who hates anyone who is non-American unless he himself deems them worthy of being his, third wife.
No, wrong.
Yes, right.
Why can't he get his green card? Because his medical records aren't complete. And what is missing from his medical record? The COVID vaccine.
So what I'm kind of hearing you say is that you would like to choose what the rules, laws, and regulations are that determine whether or not someone is eligible to become a U.S. citizen.
Like, it is the year 2025.
So you think it should be easier for people to come to this country? Because, again, you voted for a man whose whole platform is anti-illegal immigrants, but it's just so interesting that, all the immigrants...
And it maybe even by the end of the year, the scope might officially encompass U.S. citizens. They're flirting with it already by expanding ICE's ability to arrest bystanders who are disrupting, people that are chasing them down in cars and honking to warn people that are routinely coming to wherever ICE is to film them. They've already expanded their jurisdiction to U.S. citizens that they feel are getting in their way or, impeding their investigation, whatever they say. But it really is only a matter of time. I think by the end of the year that Donald Trump makes it official that ICE can kidnap, kill, do whatever they want to U.S. citizens at any time.
Immigrants seem to be swept up in that, right?
But this is what they do. This is what they do to people who do it the right way.
Again, it's almost like you voted for a group of people who are anti anyone who is not American.
Yeah.
But
it's about brown skin. It has nothing to do with doing it the right way. We've seen, how many examples do we need to show in hospitals, courtrooms, schools, going for the easy fish, going for the laborer, the person who's really the one we want to, legalize and get legitimate and turn into a legitimate taxpayer as soon as possible. They're getting all these people, which is of course affecting the economy, but we can't talk about that.
They get people behind that ideology by pointing out people coming from the Mexico border because they are brown and speak Spanish, and this country is full of racists.
I can't even tell you how much money, thousands of dollars, we have spent on the different forms and applications and immigration lawyers
Seneca,
and all
back.
of the different things, all for everything to expire on their time anyways.
Listen, Riley, I really got to end this FaceTime. I just was taking a 5-minute break. I got to get back to work. But, you effed around and you found out, babes.
Ooh, make sure you check her out. Spilling the fucking tea. God damn, woman. That's Eric Van Hanchen. Maybe fix your name. Get a better name. Call yourself fucking Unicorns and Rainbows or some shit. Right? Make it easy to type in there. That's what the kids are looking for. So check this shit out. We got undercovers infiltrating ICE protests, right? I think what this is Father ICE got his little groiper teenager to come along and do a ride along, and he sent him into the crowd to try to gather information. Look at this fucking footage. So look at this shit, dude. Oh shit, bro. Right? The provocateurs, right? They're going to be real. They're always going to be there. They're going to use any underhanded tactics, and this is why we have to self-police so hard when it comes to violence, when it comes to the advocating for violence, and that's why I stood so firmly against those pro-Luigi Mangione protesters, right? Because like you want to you want to talk about Luigi Mangione. You want to talk about the, unfair healthcare system and how, it can result in real violence and how we need to do something about it so it doesn't inspire copycats. But while also saying that murder is wrong and there, we should, that healthcare person should have been, that healthcare CEO should have been arrested instead of assassinated. And instead of like, rah, he had it coming. This is why we need to be so careful, because they are actively attempting to weaponize our rhetoric, to weaponize, against us. And even they're going to do it anyway, but we shouldn't do their jobs for them. Okay. And we don't believe in violence anyway. So we should be self-policing that kind of rhetoric anyway, regardless of, how they're going to weaponize it and use it against us, whether we do it or not. But so we should be doing it anyway. It's just smart. It's what we believe in. We don't believe in, using violence against our political enemies, et cetera, et cetera. And we also, we don't believe in making special exemptions and excuses for our side because we're better than the right. We're better than the hypocrites, right? We actually believe in being honest to ourselves and to others. Welcome back, Smash. Good to see you. I think MLK called that purification. Interesting. But this is, this is going to be welcome to the activist movement. If you're not sure what the hell's going on, the Occupy Wall Street filled with agent provocateurs, BLM protests, agent provocateurs up and down. Good way to check is with their feet wear, what they're wearing on their shoes. A lot of the time they don't change out their shoes. They're wearing these fucking black cop boots. Another good indicator is their haircut. Right. You can also just, their general demeanor, in a lot of cases, they stand out. Right. So there's a lot of ways to point out the Fed. So you need to be very careful with what you say, what you do, and don't be afraid to self-police. You see somebody doing some violence, smashing a window, you're doing a peaceful protest. Someone's out there smashing a window, call them out, stop them if you feel able to. Right. But self-police, remember that this, when you're an activist, you are representing a movement. That means you need to think about the movement and how you act and how you represent yourself. I know it sucks, right? Oh, I'm free. I can do whatever I want. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, no. Let's get serious. Let's get serious. Let's treat ourselves seriously, but let's treat our cause seriously as well, right? All right, so moving on here. I've shown, this is kind of a reoccurring thing that I show people once in a while. Food vendors that continue to do their job during natural disasters. The last one that I showed, I think is that a word? Shown? Sorry, the last thing that I showed people, that is a word, showed, was this food vendor. It was like during a hurricane. Like, people are like holding on to the fucking post, getting blowed by. Okay. Showed us, didn't you? I did showed. But no, it was unbelievable, the weather. And this guy's like making tamales or something, and like the water's rushing by, shit's flying around. This guy over here slinging food. It was the craziest thing I ever saw until I saw this. So look at these women chilling out, having a good time during a flood. Look at what the fuck is behind them, bro. Are you joking? Like, get the fuck out of the water. Get the fuck out of the water. Now they're just chilling, eating. It's all good, bro. Ha-ha. Isn't this funny? Isn't this funny? If the water goes up like 1 more inch, we're all dead. Ha-ha. Hilarious stuff. Just chilling next to the power converter transformer that's 2 inches above the water. Hilarious stuff, guys. Funny. Just chilling. Oh, by the way, the water's totally fetid. Water's completely diseased. Fucking sewage water. Yep, just eating, just chilling. Okay, look, it's cute, it's funny, whatever. But come on, let's have some common sense here, dude. Let's have some fucking common sense here. Okay, it's adorable, it's cute. These are wonderful people. I'm sure the food is delicious. But come on with this. Are you kidding me? Yeah, hi, peace. Yeah, you're about to get your fucking, you're about to go, like, okay, whatever. All right, well, that was in Vietnam. All right, they're adorable. Look, she doesn't want to be on camera. That's adorable. Okay. I guess I'm done being the curmudgeon here. Whatever. I guess it's fine. Everyone's okay. Hopefully the voltage is shut down. But it's like it could turn on at any moment. Okay. All right. We're done. We're done trying to be adults. Let's just have fun here. Fuck it. YOLO. Eat food. Eat food in the sewage water next to the power pole. Do it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Who cares? You're not drinking it. You're not drinking the water. You're just soaking your body in it. It's no biggie. It's just poop water. So, more of this, more of the like just crazy, like 600% reduction to 1,000% reduction in price. Like, I mean, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous, but it's also frightening that they continue to repeat this lie. And you know, where's the fourth estate over here? You know, Caitlin Collins, that you don't have time to bring this up. Does CNN, Rachel Maddow, does anyone have time to bring this up? I mean, maybe they'll point out how ludicrous it is once in a while, but they're not holding these politicians to account on this stuff. Oh, I would. Go ahead and give me a free sample. I want more viewers on Kick, guys, please. As an example, one particular drug that's hot, very hot, 654% on inhalers, they will be averaging 654% reduction in price. Can you believe it? Which is literally like, yeah, you go to buy your inhaler and they give you your inhaler in $50. Oh, here you go. We owe you money. It's like, yeah, that sounds great. You're going to give me, you leave with 50 extra bucks from the Walgreens. No, I cannot believe the price of this medication will be reduced by 654. And it's such a specific number, too. Reduced by 654%, since it's mathematically impossible to reduce the price by anything more than $100. I'll take two. Trump announced it's a 654% reduction in prescription prices. Great news. If you usually pay $200, you'll now get a $1,000 refund. Dictators always promise miracles. They just never deliver math that works. It's very true. It's very true. But even in this case, like even like fascists of the old days, like Hitler promised all kinds of stuff, but he didn't promise. Not only are your drugs going to be free, but we're going to give you money. Like he didn't even promise that, dude. Like this is just. This is clown work. I would really love to see an interview with Adolf Trump, with Adolf Hitler. That's funny how I mixed them together. But that would be funny to see a interview of Adolf Hitler, like critiquing Donald Trump, like, oh, he's a terrible fascist. Oh, no consistency. Oh, he's such a coward. His taco. It's like Adolf Hitler. He's like, oh, he's giving a bad name to fascism. He's really ruining it for me. I used to see Kyle all the time. Now I saw Elon do it, and I'm like, I don't want to do it no more. It's like that loser is ruining fascism for me. I'd love to see an interview with Adolf Hitler. It's like, these guys are ruining my thing. Yeah, exactly. He tries to do an X. He tries to do an X. I can't do a German accent, so sorry about that. So, we got to talk a little bit about the Supreme Court here, but here, the preempting of the stealing of the election, it continues at pace. And here's another example. We're now questioning the legitimacy of mail-in voting completely. I guess they did the math and realized that mail-in voting is benefiting more. Like, it's okay to disenfranchise millions of Republicans, especially old Republicans that are very loyal to their cause. I guess it's like, well, we're throwing them by the wayside. We're screwing them over already with our healthcare stuff, so it doesn't really matter. We don't need them anymore, right? But here's the Supreme Court, attacking, like I said, putting on the chopping block mail-in voting, which would disenfranchise millions, including Republicans.
At the Supreme Court today, the justices seemed open to reviving a Republican challenge that would allow political candidates to sue over their state's election laws. Right. At issue today was whether a Republican congressman from Illinois has the legal right to challenge a law allowing mail-in ballots postmarked by Election Day and received within 2 weeks. Illinois state officials warned that allowing his case to proceed would, quote, cause chaos for the courts. The case is one of several brought by allies of President Trump, who has falsely blamed mail-in voting as a reason for his 2020 election loss.
And once they get this, the next step is going to be cutting off the vote at 12 o'clock. I guess, I don't know how, they're going to pick like 12 o'clock PST so that I can go to bed, so that I can declare victory and go to bed before 1. Yeah, that's the perfect time, right? Which would be like... so he doesn't even care about time zones. 12 o'clock. What time zone? What's a time zone? I've never heard of that. That's a made-up thing. That's woke. We should call them Trump zones, really, if you think about it.
The court is expected to rule on the case by next June.
Great. By next June, huh? Okay. So they're not lining. Well, no, that's in time for the midterms. Yeah, by next June, that's in time for the midterms. Perfect. Gee, I wonder which way they're going to rule, don't you? Aren't you wondering which way the Supreme Court's going to decide on this one? I'm really wondering. So the attacks to our election do not cease. I mentioned this yesterday. I don't know if I had time to bring this up yesterday, in full. But Dominion Voting Systems has been sold to a company run by a former Republican election official. Total pro-Jan 6er, pro 2020, Donald Trump won in 2020. I mean, the full fucking conspiracy, guys. Like they're stealing the election. Okay, this is absolutely what's happening. This isn't even like ambiguous and stuff, and has it's hard to pin down some information like when it comes to like 9/11 or something. It's barely a conspiracy is what I'm trying to say. Like it's literally election subversion, and there's no doubt in my mind that these systems will be compromised. They will install the ability to tweak these numbers, to change these numbers as they see fit. And, systems like this would allow them to obfuscate in a really advanced way, right? So instead of doing like, Bush League stuff like packing a ballot box with a bunch of fake votes and, third world country in Africa style, kind of like stealing the vote. Like with this, it's just a computer system. You can tweak some numbers, tweak an algorithm. You can hide these calculations, and and of course it's all proprietary. So you don't even need to show the public. You don't have any transparency about how you got these numbers. Oh, gee, I don't know. It's weird. The exit polls show that the Democrat won, and the entry polls also show that the Democrat won, but it looks like the results, the Democrat lost by 2 or 3%. Oh, what can you do? Sorry. So, and this is a really, really juicy target as well. Dominion voting systems are used in states all across the nation. Blue states, right-wing states, they get a massive, just immediately with this purchase, they get a massive advantage in the election, okay? Because the Democrats, of course, they weren't, there was no stealing the election for anybody. I mean, at least there's no clear evidence of that. But I feel very confident that there will be whistleblowers. We will get the inside fucking dirt about, oh yeah, I had to change the code or something. We'll hear about it. We'll know that it happened, but they're going to deny it. It's fake. You're Antifa if you bring it up. You're a terrorist if you bring it up. But the theft of the midterm elections and the next presidential election is well at pace. It's happening.
This morning, Fox News legal troubles stemming from the 2020 election appear to be far from over, even after the network's groundbreaking settlement with Dominion Voting Systems, which accused Fox.
I'd be surprised if Dominion doesn't drop all these cases with all these other, all these right-wing, people that Dominion was suing, right? Because this is why Tucker Carlson got fired off of Fox News, because of Dominion, because of his lies about stop the steal about the 2020 election. He was lying and hinting that Dominion had something to do with it, like, doing the usual shtick that he does.
Of recklessly airing baseless claims that its machines were rigged against former president.
Well, no, Seneca. So that they're like, oh, we'll do everything by paper. We'll do everything that way. We'll do everything. No, but you're gonna fill. It's gonna be like Florida. You fill out the thing, you put it in a machine, and then they're gonna tweak the numbers afterwards. So it'll have this error of authenticity, right? It'll feel like it's authentic and it's like it's unimpeachable. but ultimately they'll have control over the results.
Trump. It is the largest defamation settlement amount that I've heard of by a factor of several fold.
It's like 700 million.
A different voting machine company has filed a similar defamation lawsuit against Fox for $2.7 billion, significantly more than the $1.6 billion Dominion was seeking. Dominion and Fox settled yesterday for nearly half that amount, just as the trial was about to start.
Exactly. So Dominion, now that it's owned by a right-winger, I believe the company is now called Liberty Vote or something. It's, Orwellian, of course. And, of course, the boss is like, the guy who runs it, he's like, election integrity. It's all about election fraud and election integrity. It's a big problem. It was a big crisis before he came along, right? All projection. It's to secure the ability to steal the election.
Dominion's lawyer says bringing the case to an end means bringing the trauma to an end for Dominion employees.
In my opening statement, I was going to talk about one employee who has had to deal with changing gyms because of harassment by people who believe the lies, who went to a doctor's appointment with a new doctor, was sitting in a hospital gown.
He's talking about the fake lies that Fox News and Tucker Carlson spread. That that people are getting threatened. You stole the election. Oh, blah, blah, blah. That should have been Donald Trump.
And the doctor saw that she worked for Dominion and said, "Oh."
Ironically, I wish he had successfully stolen it, because he probably, it gave Project 2025 a whole full 4 years. Russell Vogt there a whole 4 years to really work on a master plan that all of it hinged on Donald Trump winning, in the 2024 election. And he, it's like, I wish he would have, could you imagine we could be done with Trump, right? He could have already completed his second term, and, he tried to do as much damage, but he didn't have as much Project 2025 organization, right? He kind of stumbled through it like he did his first term. So I almost wish he did successfully steal it.
Oh, you work for Dominion, the company that stole the election? They were going to have to come into court and relive all this again. So today was a very good day for Dominion and for their employees.
The historic settlement keeps Fox News stars like Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham from having to testify about what they said on air.
Yeah,
disturbing irregularities have been...
Just in time, right-wing billionaire scoops in and saves the day, right? Just in fucking time, Look, if these people go their whole lives and into the grave without seeing justice, we need to retroactively, have show trials, have some kind of, trial in absentia, whatever you call it, right? Where they're already dead, but we need to set the record straight that these people were criminals and liars and propagandists. We can't allow them to get away with these crimes indefinitely.
Found.
In a statement, Fox News said, "We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. The settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards." Critics of the settlement note it does not require Fox News to acknowledge the election falsehoods on air to its audience. But Dominion isn't finished. It's also suing former Trump attorneys Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, as well as MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, for their false claims about the election results.
MyPillow.
And as for that $2.7 billion lawsuit filed by Smartmatic, experts say the likelihood of a settlement in that case does appear high. No trial date has been scheduled yet.
Right. So the fix is in. Okay, go ahead, get your tinfoil. Oh yeah, get him ready. Get ready to be called a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you said, that's what you said about Stop the Steal. That's what you said about Stop the Steal. Thank you, Dundee Man, for that amazing Mike Pillow gif. So get ready, because you're gonna have to be like, no, they legitimately stole the election. Donald Trump was lying. It's gonna be like, no, Donald Trump was lying about these, but this is not a lie. This is real. He's really actually stealing it. Here's all the evidence that you can ignore. Like, this is going to be your life after the midterms it's like, no, he stole it. He legitimately stole. Oh, you're just butthurt. He's got a mandate. Yeah. Welcome to hell. Welcome to being a leftist. This is a common tactic by dictators. So leftists all across the world have to deal with this kind of the fascist dictator, authoritarian dictator legitimizing itself, legitimizing its government. I mean, could you imagine how insufferable it is to be around somebody in Russia who's like, oh, Putin won the election. Putin won the election. It's like, come on, man. You know, like, oh, come on, bro. Really? But no, they do it. You know, they're looking for that excuse to acquiesce to empire. You know, those people that do that. Anyway, on to the next thing here. Portland anti-ICE protester seen wearing an inflatable frog suit has claimed to be harmlessly protesting, quote unquote, with humor. Remember, this is the New York Post, right? So be afraid. Antifa bad for some reason. But now a new report has revealed that the person under the costume is a self-described proud Antifa terrorist. Oh no, he did it! It's the leader of Antifa. Get him! We got him. We got the leader of Antifa right here. He's in a frog suit. We got him right here. Kidnap him. We got an opening in Guantanamo Bay. Go ahead and drop him off there. We don't even need his name. It literally drops him off in the costume. It's just images of him behind the fence in the costume. Let me out, please let me. They don't let him out of it. You're a real criminal. So the last thing I have for today, I guess, you know, throughout the week, I'm just going to, you know, Monday, I'm just going to hit it hard on the Trump stuff. I believe I've done a lot of ICE stuff already. There's just even more stuff to do when it comes to ICE, more videos of them hurting people, more videos of them. Like, look, this video is completely bananas. Let's just try to get through all the ICE stuff real quick on this one. Real quick, though, let me get through the last story. There was this terrible, terrible blast at a weapons factory in Tennessee, killed all 16 people. Like, it was just total annihilation. Like, the blast, this is the sound of the blast from somebody's Ring camera, miles away. I don't know how many miles, but I think at least a mile away. You can see everything, the shock wave hitting the camera and the sound of the explosion. One more time. Really frightening stuff. And it just completely, like, you know, some kind of massive, you know, one spark, right? It was like they were making weapons, you know, they were making bullets and stuff. So the whole place was like filled with gunpowder, filled with explosives. And I mean, just look at this. Completely annihilated. The walls gone. Everything burnt to a crisp. I mean, just... You know, it's like something out of Ukraine right now, right? When an ammo dump is hit. But this is even more thorough. Like, this is burnt down to the foundations. Just complete annihilations. And everyone in the area died probably instantly. Hopefully there wasn't any suffering. But you got to be especially careful in these environments, you know? I'm sure there was precautions taken. I'm sure there, you know, but if you lax, you slip up. Boom. Nasty stuff. So RIP to the victims there. It is totally tragic, you know, totally tragic. And, you know, hopefully a proper investigation is done to see if there's culpability behind the owners of this facility who maybe they were laxing on security, right? Maybe they weren't going full as hard on security as they should have, or proper procedure. So hopefully there's a proper investigation. All right, let's get through this ICE stuff, and then we'll call it a day. Here's yet another, like I said, we got ICE out here acting like the mafia. This may or may not be the incident I was referencing earlier with the woman. I think that's a different incident of them. There's so many of these now. I'm getting them mixed up. But here's, you know, yet again, more evidence that ICE is absolutely the brown shirts. Yeah, so they're just like cartel style. Slamming into people's vehicles.
Hit and run! Hit and run! That's a hit and run! Hit and run!
Right, and people are like, whoa, this is unbelievable.
Hit and run! Hit and run!
Nope, it's ICE.
Hey, watch out with that weapon! That weapon
comes out weapon drawn, like he's in a war zone, like he's in Fallujah. Nobody's armed. They got cell phones in their hands. Comes out, weapon ready to go. They hit her. Right? Look at this. It's completely intentional. Totally intentional.
Yeah. Hit and run! Hit and run! That's a hit
And it's like, it's almost like they didn't know what to do. It's almost like they were like, at first they were like, let's get out of here, bro. Okay, we went too far. Let's get out of here, bro. And then they decide to stop and like, oh, okay, well, let's legitimize this with an arrest. Okay, no, it's smarter to legitimize this with an arrest. So let's get out, guns drawn. Let's act up. Let's pretend like this is a crisis. Kind of feels like that, where it's like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Hey, watch out with that weapon! That weapon! Yo, watch out! What's wrong with you? You hit it! You hit her!
What the fuck? What the fuck is this Call of Duty lobby bullshit? What the fuck is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing, dude? Are you gonna fucking teabag me? What the fuck are you? What are you just? Are you in the lobby waiting for a match? What are you doing? What are you doing? The car is stationary. The car was like, she's like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here?
You hit it. You hit her. Yo. What's wrong?
Yeah, we'll think about a reason on the walk over there.
You hit her. You guys hit.
So she stays in her car. She doesn't flee. She doesn't have a weapon. She was just hit by a vehicle and very likely an American citizen.
You guys hit her. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all bust a whole U-turn.
Oh, and now they're going to fucking get physical with her, yank her out. Crazy. I mean, fascist, brown shirts. Yes, brown shirts.
She's trying to go to work. She's trying to go to work.
Wow.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Y'all some crazy. Y'all got no heart, for real. No heart. No heart.
I mean, she's fighting like hell. Masked? They're masked? They're in a civilian vehicle, no identification. These guys could we could get crazy with it, okay? Give this a couple weeks. These guys can kidnap this woman, and yeah, you fucking bet you know what happens next. You don't think that shit's gonna go down? These pedophilic, sexual deviants on the right being deputized by fucking Donald Trump, all their beautiful racist wet dreams come true. They're not going to take a little on the side. Oh, she looked good in them yoga pants, bro. No one will tell. No one, who cares? It's her word against ours. It's only a matter of fucking time, man. If you don't think that shit'll go down, then God bless your little heart, because you don't know the darkness that mankind is capable of. You don't know the evil that is in every man's heart, every man and woman, every human's heart. God bless you for your naivete, because you haven't seen it. You haven't been victimized. You don't know. But let me tell you something I know. Okay? And I can tell you, this will turn into sexual assault. Okay? Against U.S. citizens, but it'll probably start with illegals first.
You guys hit her. How you guys gonna arrest her?
Really? And he's fully strapped up. Are you gonna fire that weapon, bro? You gonna mag dump that automatic gun into the crowd? What the fuck are you doing, man? I love how they get to select their loadout, by the way. That's just absolutely adorable. They get all the fucking fancy toys. Is that a Vector? Like, is that a fucking Vector? You know what I mean? Like, what? That's just that's like something you would see Secret Service be carrying around. Something highly automatic, small, right? It's perfect for crowd control in close quarters. So you're gonna sweep the fucking crowd with that thing, bro? Yeah, Promethean. Yeah.
You hit her. You guys hit her.
This is highest quality I can get, by the way.
You guys hit her. Whole lawsuit right there.
It's only a matter of time before the sexual assaults begin. I'd put money on it, and I wouldn't want to, but you know what I mean. I am utterly 100% certain that you give these cretins this kind of authority, they will absolutely start raping. They're already pillaging. In the Chicago raid, they were pillaging homes. Here's Aaron Rupar over here at Blue Sky. Trump, quote unquote, Portland, I mean, every time I look at the place, it's burning down. There are fires all over the place. Listen to this. When a store, there are very few of them left. Stores. But when a store owner rebuilds a store, they build it out of plywood. They don't put up storefronts anymore. They just put wood up. You know what I'm saying? Like level 1 Twisted Metal. Like the guy that's like, it's a complete fabrication. And like you're seeing the right wingers, right? You're seeing the politicians, the ones that need to, that need Trump for their career. You're seeing the talking heads, the Benny Johnsons, right? All the rest of them. Fox News, Jesse Waters going full Zeke Heil on Fox News every night. Every night. Go ahead and tune in to Fox News. I know you don't want to. Tune in to your average Jesse Waters show. Shit is a Zeke Heil fest. Fully buying in and repeating it. But it's like your average Joe American. Really? Portland, Oregon right now. Beautiful Portland, Oregon. Tourists walking around right now, enjoying the hell out of their day, right? So many beautiful musical scenes, indie art stuff happening all across the city. Every store is burned to the ground. It's like Palestine. They don't even bother to put up wood or cement or bricks. And trust me, I know a lot about building. They only put up plywood. I've seen it. I have proof, but you're not allowed to see it. It's just me. It's just for me. It really does breach the limits of absurdity, right? It really like the only way you could willfully believe this is if the economy continues to just hum along, right? And you yourself are not affected. But once the average conservative is blatantly and obviously affected economically by this fucking idiot, all this tomfoolery, he won't be able to get away with it, even with the sycophants. They're going to be like, yeah, okay, you're loading us up with this kind of bullshit. Meanwhile, like I got fired from my job, blah, 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 going through economic hardship, medical hardship. So like I've said before, we're still in that fun and games phase. Okay. And it's coming to a head. I don't want it to happen, but it is rolling at us like a giant 8-ball. It will smash into the zeitgeist like a rocket. And I believe we will see, like I showed you that expert already, but I believe we're going to see cascading failures all kind of happening at the same time.
Problem. Or Portland, Oregon. I mean, every time I look at that place, the place is burning down. There's fires all over the place. When a store owner, there are very few of them left, but when a store owner rebuilds a store, they build it out of plywood, and they don't put up storefronts anymore. They just put wood up, because they know it's going to be ripped down. And then I hear how wonderful it is. It's not wonderful. It's a disaster. That's almost an insurrection, that place. So we put our people in.
So he's hot for it. He's hot for it, baby. I'm a big old beat. I'm sorry. What the hell? I just blacked out for a second. No, he's hot for it. He's absolutely hot for that insurrection, baby. He wants to do it. And I say go for it. Honestly, I say go for it. Put the military through it. Put the fucking military through this. Test their loyalty right now when you don't need it. Right? Make it totally erroneous. Make it completely foolish for these soldiers to be out there. Waste everybody's time on a fake fucking thing that you just make up. And then right in the middle of all this theater, boom, the fucking bomb drops.
I'm Donald Trump.
Whoops, sorry.
Thank you, Donald.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, a fucking bomb drops, dude, on the economy, on whatever. China makes a move, right? Israel makes another move into Gaza, right? Someone does something in the bond market, right? Whatever it is, whatever the tipping point is. All that happening while he's trying to do this police state boogaloo with no one really down with it. Go for it. Go for it. He thinks, like I said, he thinks he's going up against Chuck Schumer. He thinks hundreds of millions of Americans are just like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party. He has no fucking idea what the strength of your average leftist, the strength of a person that's not even on the left, but believes in the ideals of America. Freedom and liberty, democracy, constitutional rule, et cetera, right? Patriots. There's patriots out there. All right. They don't even know what political orientation they belong in, but they know they believe in America. They know they believe in this fucking country, in the Constitution, et cetera. So go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it, man. Get our soldiers in their fatigues to start checking everyone's papers and start setting up checkpoints and start arresting people erroneously all across America. Spend hundreds of millions of fucking dollars a week on occupying the entire American nation. Do it. Do it, Trump. I don't think it's the slam dunk you think it is, Trumpy baby. But anyway, those are my thoughts. This is a very interesting paper. There's no way. Maybe I found it. I'm not sure who found this. Props to you if you did. Maybe I did. I don't know. But there's this whole thing here. I guess you got to log in to read the whole thing. But there's this whole paper, and I thought the summary was really interesting because we talk about this kind of stuff quite often on the stream here. So just indulge me here for a second. But it's called Disguised Repression: Targeting Opponents with Non-Political Crimes to Undermine Dissent. So that's what we're seeing now, right, with Letitia James, right, going after, erroneous mortgage, paperwork, something that would be a slap on the wrist and like a couple $1,000 fine is blown up and turned into she's a traitor to the country. But why not just go after them as traitors, right? Why not just say you're a terrorist? Arrest that woman. You're a political, why do these kind of like lesser crimes when you could just erroneously charge them with the worst crime in America and haul them away? Well, there's actually a political reason why you would do that. And that's what this article gets into. Why do authoritarian regimes charge political opponents with non-political crimes when they can levy charges directly related to the opponent's political activism, right? You tweeted that, don't kill George Floyd, so you support BLM and you're a terrorist. There you go. I got you. We argue that doing so disguises political repression and undermines the moral authority of opponents, minimizing backlash and mobilization. And admit it, I did this too. When you heard about Letitia James cheating on her mortgage before you heard the details and how erroneous it was, you were like, oh, maybe she's up to something. Right? Oh, maybe she's up to something, right? Could, no one's perfectly innocent, and she's connected to the Democratic Party, maybe Hunter Biden, exactly. Like, it puts that idea, right? It devalues that person's reputation, right, in that accusation. And because it's more obvious that it's political repression if Donald Trump goes, you're a terrorist, you're a traitor, arrest that woman, it actually turns Letitia James into a martyr. But going this direction, it's like, well, she's corrupt. Yeah, she's corrupt. She broke the law. She's a criminal. It's a more effective way at political oppression. To test this argument, we conduct a survey experiment which shows that disguised repression decreases perceptions of dissidents' morality, decreases people's willingness to engage in dissent on behalf of the dissident. And that's what's important, because if you attack Letitia James in this way, it doesn't inspire the left to get out in the streets in the way that if she was just like, you're a terrorist, you go, no more rights for you. And increases support for repression of the dissident. We then assess external validity of the argument by analyzing millions of Chinese social media posts made before blah, 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 blah. Right. So they get into their methodology. I guess you got to pay to read this. But if you want to check it out, it's right here. It's interesting. It reminds me of like the difference between disappearing someone and, just like executing them, because disappearing them is actually more effective because it turns the family and the friends of the person that's been disappeared into it forces them to obey, because the idea is that, well, if I stop speaking out, if I stop pushing against the empire, maybe I'll get my family member back because someone else got their family member back. So you want that ambiguity, right? That, hey, they disappeared for 6 months and then boom, here you go. Here's your life back. Boom. We have that power, right? Because your family stayed quiet, because, no one marched in your name and you stopped dissenting against the empire. So it actually can be more effective to disappear someone than to execute them. And here we see why not just charge Letitia James with treason when you can do that? You're the dictator. You can do whatever you want. It actually might be more effective at hurting the leftist movement by going after her for these small petty crimes. That's like, it's kind of like you can confuse people more easily about the morality of the person that is being assaulted, attacked, right? Very fascinating stuff. Very interesting stuff. Here's more ICE. Yeah, exactly, Promethean. Love the comments, folks. I'm seeing them there. Here's ICE kidnapping a tamale vendor. People were, they love this person, apparently. She's kind of a well-known person in the area. She, probably everyone in the bar scene. There's probably some bars there. They got a taqueria right there. People, it's, people get to know their food vendors when they're out about the town, right? So people love this woman. So here's ICE kidnapping this person and just leaving their possessions there on the side of the street, right? Taking this person directly to either to a gulag in Texas or directly to an airplane and dropping them off in another country, right? Boom, boom, boom. You're guilty. Bop, we know who you are. Right, probably been working here for decades. Who knows? Disappeared, gone. And Gavin Newsom doesn't have the balls to say abolish ICE. AOC doesn't have the balls to say abolish ICE. Maybe does she? All right. Did AOC say? Okay. No, check it out, yo. Okay. All right, I need to stop talking shit. I need to come correct on AOC's name over here. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democratic Socialist and Democratic primary challenger to Representative Joseph Crowley, made abolishing ICE one of her top campaign issues. So there you go, folks. Excellent. Flushing myself. I deserve it. Flush it myself. Let me see here. Here we go.
Stop fucking crying, bitch.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up.
Cool with the anti-Semitic remarks.
And I should be called anti-Semitic as well for some reason. That just really, that tops it. Okay. Perfect. ICE are bastards. Thank you, AOC, for being on the right side of history. Maybe Gavin Newsom can come along. I know Gavin Newsom hasn't said that shit. I don't need to look that up. Yeah, the whole Patriot Act does need to go. It needs to be reviewed. TikTok is already actively censoring, images, videos that, of ICE being fascistic. Of course, we covered this yesterday. This is, what's her name? Debbie Brockman, who's not even a reporter. She was like a producer, someone behind the camera, getting hauled away by ICE. Look at her choking her, putting her in, she's like, she unfortunately, she has a body that doesn't really allow her to put her hands all the way behind her back, so they have to double up with the handcuffs. It's just an unbelievable shit show. Fascistic. She's an American citizen, of course. Doesn't mean anything. But yeah, we got to get off TikTok. We absolutely need to get off TikTok. We have to. But it's like we should flood it with leftist propaganda while we can. But once the Israeli that bought this takes over and and our stuff is immediately deleted, anything left is deleted immediately, we should stop wasting our time with it, right? Because that's where it makes its money, is in the people that are engaging with it. So we need to have less people engaging with it at a certain point. If the leftists can figure out a way to get videos in the algorithm, right, to get Zoomers to see leftist content, then maybe it might be worth the time. But if, because I predict they're going to Barry Weiss the thing. They're going to come in just like she is with CBS and just fucking, bang, you're gone, boom, leftist ideas, progressive ideas, pro-Palestinian ideas, anti-ICE sentiments, boom, gone. That's what I predict is going to happen. But I don't know. Sometimes the dollar wins out, because look at Twitch right now. Hassan's still #1. Jeff Bezos just sitting there, right? Kind of letting leftists, gallivant around this platform. Because of the money. Yeah, there he is. Because of the fucking money, right? Because they know if they turn this into Kick, it'll be fucking Kick. And no one's going to want to use Twitch. It devalues the product completely if they go full right wing and they ban all the leftists like Hassan and me. We're the only two left. Here's a Border Patrol agent, looks like a fucking psychopath, gone through 6 divorces, 2 seconds away from a mass shooting, giving you a little idea of the the mentality, the mental state of these ICE officers. Here's a little 20 seconds into the mind of fucking madness.
When you see a Border Patrol agent, perhaps you look scared. Perhaps your demeanor changes.
No, I'm just
Perhaps
kidding.
you're gripping the steering wheel so tightly that I can see the whites of your knuckles. There's a myriad of factors that we would look at to develop articulable facts for reasonable suspicion.
Is that a word? Is that a word? It's one for me to ridicule anyone's intelligence. Is that a word? You little bull. Is that? Yeah, it is. Okay. No, I'm an idiot. I'm the idiot. Okay, good. Okay, I was just making sure. But no, if you're intimidated by a bunch of guys in full military gear and a mask and an automatic weapon hanging off them, to this man, that indicates that you're doing something illegal, right? Because you should feel safe. If you're a totally innocent civilian that hasn't done anything wrong, you should be totally at ease when you see somebody in full military gear, head to toe, with a fucking mask on, running around, with a weapon ready to go. If only criminals would feel intimidated and scared by that, and that's an articulatable fact that ICE will use to check your papers. Papers, please. Oh, that son of a bitch looks scared. He must be up to something. Papers. Let me see your papers. Oh, look at that black guy. He's looking at us wrong. Let me see your papers. Papers now. Papers. Yeah. I'm kidnapping you and sending you to Guantanamo Bay because I found articulatable facts. That's a real word. I looked it up. So this was Woke Patriot brought this up, asked I think it was actually Dirty Crackhead who brought this up, asked if we were talking about this, and we did talk about this, but citizens are taking it upon themselves to put up signs that say, hey, ICE kidnapped somebody here, ICE kidnapped somebody there. If you have any information, if you have any footage, let us know. We're trying to find this person. Soon we'll see this become illegal, right? They'll call this terrorism against ICE, inciting violence against ICE. I'm sure that's what Stephen Miller would say. So we'll see this become illegal. But right now, citizens are trying to do whatever they can to stand up against this. And once again, I have to mention this. I have never seen normies respond like this. Have you? Like, I feel like this is it reminds me of the George Bush anti-Iraq war movement that was like for 6 months. A good portion of America was like, fuck no, I don't want to go into Iraq. That's fucking ridiculous. And even normies were getting on board and normies were protesting. But I think this is it's been a long time since I've seen normies engage themselves in this way, pushing directly against an American authority force. What if your knuckles don't have whites? Well, if they're black, then we know where you got to go. It's just that easy, right? Okay, so we're getting close to the end here. This poor girl, the reason why the camera's here, this is probably the mother or a friend. She's been running from ICE, scared out of her fucking mind. And she probably called her family in advance, so she's pulling up here, and then this is how ICE handles it. And isn't it so nice of the fucking police to be there to back up this kidnapping? So this is in Chicago. This is J.B. Pritzker's police over here offering backup to ICE's disgusting kidnapping campaigns every single day. Just chaos everywhere. They just create chaos wherever they go, ripping people out of cars, terrorizing hospitals, terrorizing schools, terrorizing courthouses, just creating menace everywhere, disappearing people incredibly pissed, kidnapping children, kidnapping a 15-year-old autistic kid who has the mind of a 4-year-old and not even telling the fucking parents, and then jerking the fucking cops around. You got to be here and you got to be there and you got to do what we say. Yeah, that's right. I had 6 minutes of training, so now I get to tell you what to do. Career police officer that's been doing this job for over a decade. Suck it up. MAGA for life, bitch. Ironically, most of the cops voted for this, so I hope you fucking enjoy it, you assholes. But here they are doing the bidding of ICE, kidnapping a fucking child, scaring her half to fucking death. Get out of here, bitch. Get out of your car, bitch. You're dead, bitch. Knee on the neck, knee on the fucking neck and everything. Knee on the fucking neck and everything. These people are fucking monsters. What the fuck, cameraman? What the fuck? Fix your shit. Yeah. Mission accomplished. Hell yeah, we got another one. And let me tell you, folks, it's only a matter of time before the sexual assaults start. Oh, you got a mouth, bitch. It's only a matter of fucking time. This is what you get for resisting us. Just disgusting. Give me my daughter back. No, we get to kidnap her. Oh, but don't worry, we're the good guys. And don't you love the people of color happily signing, big, nice fat ass over here, person of color, going right along with the fascism for that $60,000 check. Well, it's legal. It's legal. They're breaking the law. They're breaking the law. His ignorance should not shield him from accountability. If we ever take back control of this country and we start arresting these folks for committing these crimes, his ignorance of what is and isn't fascism and authoritarianism and his disrespect of human rights, his ignorance of what human rights is, right? He doesn't know what the fuck a habeas corpus is. He thinks it's a dead body, right? His ignorance should not shield him from accountability if we can ever create justice and do something about this tyranny that is ICE. Yeah, this is exactly this. Violent left. I do this for Charlie. The violent left. Did you see how I put my neck on that 15-year-old girl as I ripped her out of the car? Yeah. But both sides, the violent left over here. We really got to do something about it. So this comedian absolutely fucking nailed it. He talks about the Natty Brigade. These pompous, collar popping frat boy, Barron Trump and co. Brylan, what was his name? Brylan Hugs and Kisses or whatever the fuck his name is. Trying to, the Temu version of Tucker Carlson, right? Talking about how these are the guys running our lives. These are the guys ruining our lives. High-fiving frat boys, right? So this was just a great point. I thought I'd show it to you.
You guys do some protesting this summer? That's not enough.
That's
the
not
Natty
enough.
Guard's about to legit bust your door down.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, I reshared something on my story.
Exactly. Real estate
Should
developer
be fine
son.
now. I did my part of activism. I told all my white followers how to resist in Spanish. Listen, I can tell there's a bunch of honka-donks in here who clearly never had a real job, huh? Couple honk pieces that went straight from high school to college to B2B sales. Not even a landscaping summer job in between, huh? I'll tell you all right now, fascism begins from the standing desk, folks.
True.
Right?
So true.
Bunch of guys that look like me with the Patagonia zip-up just going, well, Bill, they're not really American.
100%. 100%. Yeah. No, and they really are like self-satisfied. They believe they have it nailed. They have convinced themselves that the suffering of others is justified and that it's actually their fault that if they knew what was good for them, they would just leave. They would stop breaking the law. They would stop existing in some cases. If you're a trans person or a person of color of a certain ethnicity or country, right, whatever they've decided is the other. But no, I mean, it really is like this. These are the people that we're letting jerk us around by the collar, right? First of all, we're letting them put a collar on us. But second of all, we're getting jerked around on top of it. Okay? And we should have no shame in resisting this. We should have no shame whatsoever in telling a rich person that we're going to raise their taxes, in telling a Zionist that we defend Palestine, etc., etc. We should have absolutely no shame on standing on principle because we are more moral. We are better than the right. Okay, and that doesn't mean like arrogantly. It means our system of morality is better, is more human. Okay, and we got to be willing to die for that shit. We got to be willing to die for that shit. If we're gonna win, if we're gonna govern, right? If we're gonna get power, we got to be willing to sacrifice and die for that belief.
I'm getting kava for lunch. Yeah.
Yeah, funny stuff.
You should join our pickleball. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
No, casually. Yeah, no, they're not human. They're not human. They're the other. They're the other. And then they sleep like babies. They sleep like they fully support fascism, fully support authoritarian ICE, brown shirting all around America, and then they sleep like babies in their little, cul-de-sac, in their little townhouse cul-de-sac somewhere, right? I live in a townhouse, by the way. All right, that's all I got today. We're going to be hitting it up tomorrow, and you know what? I'm going to reward folks. We're going to do the Hassan stuff tomorrow. Okay, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Townhouse guy. That's me in my cul-de-sac. Will the Democrats even get rid of ICE? Harry, I mean, you've heard me say it. That's one of my major fucking concerns. I'm not hearing I almost said it. I'm not hearing Gavin Newsom. AOC's been down with abolish ICE from the very beginning, and kudos to her. Thank you, Smash. Thank you, Lenny. No, it's not BS. It was a shot caller. Okay, Hassan is in the wrong. He's like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's like, well, training. There's nothing wrong with training your dog, but there is something wrong with. You have to admit, okay, it's not a good look. I'm going to stop with it. He should say it wasn't a good look. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to, because his whole excuse is that I'm trying to train, right? I'm trying to train this dog. And it's like, he should have admitted, I went too far. I shouldn't have done that erroneously like that. It sends a mixed message. It's not, I was a bad trainer. I was a bad parent. I made a mistake. Okay. Happens when you're parenting dogs or children, right? You make mistakes. Okay. And he should have admitted it and said, I'm going to get rid of the shot collar. I'm going to switch it to a vibration model. But he didn't. He lied about that shit. And now it's clearly he lied about it. There's a clear difference between the model that vibrates and shocks. It's obvious to everyone that he just did a slap. He removed the prongs. And I have all the, we'll go over it. I've seen enough. I've seen enough. It shows it. I've seen enough that shows that it was a shot caller. Okay. And he should have just said, I fucked up. And like, I'm not going to do the shot collar anymore. We're going to switch to the vibration model. But he's like, I did nothing wrong, right? My enemies are coming after me, which they are, by the way. Like, all the bad actors, XQC, fucking Asmongold, Destiny, they are absolutely foaming at the mouth, right, about this. Oh, we got him. He's so terrible. He's so, like, live stream fails is just literally, he's so terrible. Oh, he drinks blood. He's a terrorist. No, I'm not saying he mistreated the dog per se. I'm saying he fucked up. Okay, because his excuse is that he's training. Okay, that's why you're using that tool. But, okay, you fucked up, man. You shouldn't have hit the button. It was erroneous. Okay, the dog can get up and walk around. You should have just said, I fucked up. I'm not saying he's mistreating the dog and abusing the dog off stream, all this other stuff that they're saying, right? Trying to impugn, oh, Hassan, he's evil. The left is evil. The left is, while Asmongold is calling the left animals, right? He's in the same breath saying Hassan is a person of lower morals than Asmongold. By the way, let's see Asmongold's browser records, huh? Let's get in there. Let me see your motherfucking browsing records, Asmongold. Let me get into your computer and have a quick peek. Because something's up with that motherfucker. Asmongold talking about morality. Oh, right. What's your Google searching looking like, dude? Scumbag. Propagandist. Fascist. Asmongold. But no, I think I've seen another piece of evidence, just not to belabor it, we'll get into it in detail, but he hasn't shown the clicker, which is distinctive. There's a difference between the clicker that's for the vibrate model and the clicker for the electricity shocking model. Hasn't shown that either. He should have just comped to it and said, I fucked up. It wasn't smart. I feel bad. He should have thrown away the collar on stream. Okay. I'm going to be a better parent to my dog. I'm going to be, I'm going to try to do better. He should just have admitted it and moved on, but he's doing the whole, I didn't do anything wrong. My enemies are trying to kill me, et cetera, et cetera. Me. I can't do no wrong. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. Because I get it. Because, like, from his perspective, it's like, if I admit that I was wrong, I'm giving my enemies ammo, right? I'm giving my enemies the ability to destroy me. But he's also worried about the leftist movement. He's like, I'm also giving my enemies the ability to destroy leftism if I admit to it, if I go along with this narrative. We're not talking about whether it's effective or not, right? We're talking about the decisions that Hasan made and how he should comp to it. How he should admit that he was wrong and say, I'm sorry, I'm going to do better, throw the fucking shock collar away and, try a different method, okay? And, like, admit that he was wrong. And it's like, it's a shame. It's a shame. So I don't think he's a dog abuser. I don't think he's the coming of Satan like XQC and Destiny and everyone else. And I'm sure Ethan Klein is going just fucking jerking it as hard as he can, right? So I don't believe any of their bullshit. But I've seen enough evidence. There's a video I'll show you tomorrow. I've seen enough evidence that it does appear to be the shock collar model. And it does appear that Hasan is kind of lying in a way. I think he tried something slick. I think he did. I think he's trying something slick, trying to lie his way out of it. And really, he should just admit that he's wrong and move on, and hey, I'm a human being. I fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. So it's not the biggest deal in the world. Like I said, I don't think he's like kicking the dog and abusing the dog and like haha, and zapping the dog every 5 seconds. I don't think any of that's happening off stream or anything. But I think he should have been more humble. I think he should just have admitted that he fucked up and then moved on from it instead of trying to say I can do no wrong. I didn't do anything wrong, and it's my enemies. This is all made up. It's all fake news. It's like. We're better than that. We're better in that shit. I think we are, at least. Okay? I'll try to be more honest with you than Hasan is, okay? Like if I fuck up, I'll try to comp to it. I will. I'll try to have that strength. I'll do the best that I can. That's all I can say. But anyway, folks, we're going to do another one. Hopefully, if I can drop my son off at daycare, if for some reason I can't because he's sick or there's another hand, foot, and mouth disease outbreak at the daycare, I won't be able to do a stream. But if I'm able to successfully drop him off at daycare without infecting my son with a disease, I'll do a stream tomorrow. We'll finish this up. We'll talk about the Trump news and the Hasan stuff. Because we do need to talk about it because we got to keep ourselves honest, but we also need to be careful about let's not cancel either. Okay. This isn't like Hasan doing a ditty, right? And he's like slapping his girlfriend in a hotel lobby. You know what I mean? But animal abuse is no joke, but I don't think it really reaches to that level of animal abuse. It really reaches to the level of mistake. So we'll talk about it more tomorrow. We got to keep people accountable, but we can't be canceling people, throwing people in the trash either. The movement is too important. Freedom and democracy is too important. Democratic socialism is too important. Big props to Meat Shield. Big props to Camel Tony. Hilarious name once again. Big props to Promethean, Harry Haas, Female Eunuchs, Smash, Lenny. Big props to all those OGs. The Ponder Monkey, Seneca Athena. Big props to you. Thank you for coming back. I love to see these names. Thank you for the view. It's the most valuable thing you can give me. Big props to all you lurkers. Thank you to the lurkers. Big love to the lurkers out there. I love you. Simply Steve 2012. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Dundee Man. Well, thank you once again. Big props to you, Dundee Man. It's always love to see your comments once in a while. You just pop in with a quick one. Always good. The Salazam, big props. Thank you to all the folks that were here right at the beginning. I do appreciate you popping in right away. That, gives me a lot of motivation to keep going when I see that. So thank you for doing that. To the folks that were here, number ones in the chat, thank you. Mecha Kind, thank you, Mecha Kind. Welcome back, by the way. Clutch Cargo, good to see you. Big props, all you OGs. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. Quick Double Tap, thank you, Quick Double Tap. I'll follow up with your messages. I've been lazy. I haven't responded to any messages on Twitch. I'll get back to you soon. Short visit will always well worth the time. Thank you, Seneca. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the positive language, positive words. Is that Casey Tron? That's funny. All right, folks. Why are we here? We're here to create political change. How do we create political change? It's scary. It's complicated. What do I do? What do I do? It's actually not that bad. It's 3 simple steps. Step 1, we inform ourselves. That's what we do today. Step 2, we sign up and show up. To the No Kings protest. We go to the BLOP, right? We go to the big list of protests right there, the motherfucking Bliznop, right? We sign up and show up because step 3, we got to put in the work like some guy I used to know. All right, No Kings. Make sure you check it out. I'm going to be there next Saturday. I'm going to go to the one in Vancouver. If you live in Vancouver, hook it up. We'll smoke blunts. I will smoke you under the fucking table. Have no doubt about that. All right, but if you live in the United States, you have no fucking excuse. You literally have no excuse. Bumfuck nowhere is covered, okay? If you live in bumfuck nowhere, you have no excuse. Show up to the No Kings protest happening 18th, next Saturday. Show up, get laid, guaranteed sex orgy at the No Kings protest. You heard it from me. You heard it from here first. News Underground exclusive. This is actually not a political protest. It's a disgusting sex orgy. Make sure you show up, folks. Show up. Bring your lube. BYOL. Bring your own lube. There's boobs on the screen. I shouldn't show that. Make sure you show up to the fucking protest, folks. We inform ourselves. We sign up and show up, and we put in the fucking work. And that's how we create real political change in America. It really is just that simple. And you know why I know it works? Because it's the only thing that's ever fucking worked. Ain't that right? Nonviolent direct political action in the vein of MLK and Mahatma Gandhi. This is how we create change. This is how we create victory. This is how we regain power and start putting human rights first instead of profit. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Glory to the Ukrainian democracy. Let's free some fucking Palestine and get your ass out there in the motherfucking street. Oh, sorry, I'm out of time. Okay, I gotta go. Have a good one, everybody. Woo!
I'll jack this.